Hello, 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 hello. What's going on? Jordan
What's up, man?
here. What's going on, Ronnie? How are you, sir?
What's
Doing
up,
all right,
guys?
man. What's up, man?
Excellent. We got our audio fixed. All right, everyone, welcome to the 507 Project live interview. I've got my man Ron Weathers on screen here. You can see him there. He's up in South Dakota. I am here in Gilbert, Arizona. Obviously, hence the 507 Project. Ron and I grew up together. But you all know that we have a super exciting guest tonight, and you're going to get to meet him here very shortly. But first, Ron and I want to let you know about a little deal that's going online. It's at Bucked Up Subs right now. And Ron, how much can they save on their purchase?
20%, man.
20%. How do they
Site-wide.
get that site-wide discount right now?
Yeah, I made the most convenient nickname possible, promo code, if you will. It's Natty Vegan 20.
Excellent.
Oh.
Beautiful. So yeah, Natty Vegan 20, help us out. It should be up and live right now. With that being said, Ron, you've never met James, correct?
No, sir.
Excellent. I've only met James a handful of times in person. It's been many, many years since I've seen him. He's had many, many cars in between, and he's done many, many things, which I'm very eager to hear about. Most recently, I mean, it's some health stuff that's really going to piggyback off of episode 2 when we talked to Chris Lazola. You guys really had a cow with that one. We had some seriously great feedback on that, so thank you. Which reminds me, don't forget to follow us on Twitch. It's free. There's no cost to that. You'll get updates every time we go live. We might post something on Facebook or here or vice versa. You don't want to miss it. We're also on YouTube and Spotify. And Ronnie here does all our editing, so thank you, sir. You do a fantastic job with that. I'll try and keep the copyrighted music to a minimum as we go forward. But without further ado, I'm going to bring on somebody who doesn't need a whole lot of introduction, but he's one of the most simple people I know in terms of just being a good dude. He's got a lot going on. He's definitely the guy, if you were a GNC and you both went to grab the last tub of protein, you're definitely going to let him have it. You're not even going to try to make it. No, just let him have it. Come back another day. There's pro days in 3 months. You can try again then. So
Pro days.
Yeah, pro, right? The good old Zion's blue raspberry, baby. It's just getting swole. Woo, Northfield.
Back in the Chuck Liddell days, dude.
Exactly. But speaking of Chuck Liddell, I got one of the most jacked and tan dudes I've ever met in my life. He's a veteran. He's just an all-around badass. But without further ado, here's Mr. James Von Dutch Martinez. How are you, sir?
Good, brother. How's it going? Good to talk to you again.
Yeah.
Good to meet you, Ron.
Yeah, excellent, man. It's been a while. Ron, James, Ron. I feel like you'd be brothers in another lifetime. I think we'd all be getting along some way, shape, or form. But James, real quick, for those that don't know you, why don't you give us like, if you walked into a room and the president was looking you in the eye and he said, "Tell me 5 things about you," what would you tell him?
Holy shit, the president.
Yeah, I know, right?
Talk about kicking it off.
Yeah.
So just a little bit of background on myself. I grew up in Southern California. Joined the Army when I was 18 years old. Spent about 9 years in the Army as a medic, deployed Afghanistan, Iraq. Did a whole entire thing. Had the T-shirt. Did some really cool stuff while I was out there. Learned a lot of things. Got out of the military, struggled with, all the issues that normal soldiers do, PTSD, just all the 9 yards, man. Solid alcoholic, drug addict for quite a bit of time. Was able to pull myself out of that and become a productive part of society. And then, I've diving into politics a lot here recently, and just kind of everything that's going on, and that's kind of been my niche. But even more recently is just a huge struggle, huge fight with COVID that almost took my life.
Yeah.
And that's really what I'm here to address, along with other political stuff. Just want to address some of the mistakes that I made that hopefully maybe can help save somebody's life.
For sure, man. Absolutely. We appreciate you being here. I know you've got some, crazy stuff going. Like you said, you have the COVID-19 right now.
Yeah. Well, I actually don't have it anymore.
Okay.
I got released from the hospital and finished all of my quarantine up. I believe it was 3 days ago.
Okay.
So I'm currently COVID free. However, I did spend 8 days in the ICU because of it.
Oof. Man, and
Sure.
it's you're not like a 680 pound 4'4" dude sitting in the basement. I mean, you're pretty active from what I
Let's
remember,
see.
and
Yeah,
it's not something we hear about. So what was your reaction when you found out, man?
Look, man. So when I first found out, I just thought it was going to be another thing, man. I'm healthy. I don't have any like super weird underlying conditions other than like some hereditary blood pressure that's very controlled by meds. So I just thought it was going to be another thing, right? I went on a hike. As a matter of fact, even while I was feeling sick, and it was no big deal. I just felt like I had allergies, and
Really?
and that was it. So I kind of spent, a day or two like that. And then, it just hit me like a ton of bricks, man. And what I what I learned right off the bat was that it didn't matter how fit you were, it didn't matter how much you worked out, it didn't matter how clean you ate, none of that mattered. It's a one big roll of the dice, man. And unfortunately, that roll of the dice bit me in the ass really bad.
Damn, I feel you. What?
Yeah.
So you
So
were out hiking. You felt like you had allergies. Nothing out of the blue. Do you know how you caught it? Do you have any contact? Anything that's gone back to like?
here's everybody's asking me that, man, and I can't say like with 100% like this is the way it happened to me, right? And that's kind of the big deal as well. It's impossible to know when it's going to happen to you, right? Do I have my inklings? Yes. I went out and I was one of those dudes, man. I was one of these dudes, right? And this is what got me in trouble, right? I was one of these dudes.
Old Newsom.
I was what now, don't get it twisted. I thoroughly stand by the second portion of
Yeah, right.
that.
That makes sense. That
Yeah,
makes
but
sense.
I was one of those dudes. I didn't take it seriously. I didn't think it was real. Don't want to wear a mask. I fought for my freedom, so on and so forth. So there's not a time where because I was so irresponsible, so stupid, that there's not a time where I can say that's what happened to me or that's where I got it. I went out. So that Monday is when I went hiking 2 weeks ago. Um, that Friday, I had just purchased a new car. I was killing it at work. I went out drinking out in the town with my family, and I'm going to guess that's where it
Yeah,
happened. But again, I was so irresponsible prior to that it could have been anywhere really.
I got you. Yeah, in California, you're so dense out there. I mean, I mean, there's just so many people. Period. And Phoenix, it's not like there's nobody here. I mean, we're almost full. Once you get here, we're full. We got room for you, Julio, and Mike. And that's it, bro. We're shutting down. We're full.
Yeah,
But
and you guys are getting pummeled as well. And
yeah,
here's the big thing that I saw, man, was and just the big thing, and talking to the pulmonologist and all the specialists there while I was in real serious trouble was they asked me to come out and they asked me to speak just because of what my prior attitude towards it was, and kind of how it was woken up, like really rudely, right?
yeah,
And unfortunately, within the ICU, I mean, I saw a lot of people in my age group that were in there because we have that stupid "it's not going to happen to me" attitude, right? So ICU beds are getting filled with 25 to 35-year-olds.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like I said, it's just a roll of the dice, man. From what I was told, 17% of people get as bad as I do.
Jeez.
But there's no rhyme or reason to who those 17% of people are going to
Right.
be. Like I saw a 30-year-old, no underlying conditions, healthy as can be, dude, die.
Yeah.
And then I saw a 300-pound dude with kidney problems, high blood pressure, diabetes walk out of there in a day.
Diabetes. Yeah. No, I get it. And this is firsthand for you because I have friends and family out here that work in ICUs, and they're like, we don't have anything. So I see what I see in the media. I hear this from you. I see what I read. Ron, you're you're in the thick of it too, kind of. I mean, James, you obviously don't know Ron, but he's a firefighter up in South Dakota. I mean, you had Sturgis this weekend. I haven't
Yeah.
seen. Now, granted, I'm not watching the news 10 hours a day anymore like I was, but I haven't seen anything at all that shows 47 million infected with COVID at the rally. Now, granted, different parts of the country. So, Ron, hearing his story, what's I want you to fit those puzzle pieces in with your experiences and kind of give me a runaround on what you think.
Man, I don't. As far as the rally goes, I mean, people come from all over the world for that. The fire department I work at is in Sturgis. We're at Fort Meade, so we're actually just east of town. Um, that's tough to say, man, because like I said, people come from all over the world, much less all over the country. So by the time that they would display symptoms or anything like that, they're probably already home. A lot of people, so the rally is 10 days long. A lot of
Oh,
people show up from one weekend or the other. You know, there's plenty of people that do stay the entire 10 days, but it seems like for the most part, it was a slower rally than normal this year, which is obvious. I
right,
mean, obvious that that's COVID because usually the big 5 year marks, so like the 75th was the last really big one. This year was the 80th.
right.
It was supposed to be a really big,
Just a
uh,
razor.
yeah, a huge turnout. And don't get me wrong, man. There's still a ton of people from all over the country here, but um, I, as far as us, like we that doesn't affect our day to day
Right.
really at all because I mean we'll see I guess if now we have a lot of spiking cases with locals or with the residents, but most of the people from out of state, which is the bulk of people here for the rally, in fact a lot of the locals try to get out of town
Yeah,
for that.
I've
It's
read that. Yeah,
yeah, there's just so many people here, man. It makes going to do anything
just
miserable, especially when you're used to living in South Dakota, man.
yeah.
Like
It's almost like hurricane season for you for like 10 days. You got to just batten down
yeah.
and just stay home.
Ron, I have a question for you, man. As a first responder, somebody on the first lines, if that's okay with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
How do you feel about that, man? How do you feel about the large gatherings and all that?
So I'm all for basically what I said on an earlier episode. I'm all for well-informed adults making their own decisions. Um,
Do you
it's
believe that
tough to
that
say. I
information
don't, I
should
don't
be
think it's the
accurate though?
government's job. Well,
That in-
what's that,
that
Jordan?
information you want them to rely on though, that's the factor. Nobody, like you said, you can't control it. So what if the information they're getting so one sided, they can't make a decision. They just have to believe what they're told, and they have the voodoo I'm scared syndrome and run 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 versus the like you said before, James. It was what virus, and then bam,
Mhm.
like a brick. So how do
Mhm.
these two groups of people meet in the middle and share information the right way?
Man, it's tough with the way the media is. Honestly, so from just what I personally witnessed at the rally is it tends to be the people on the total opposite end where they're like, yeah, fuck that, fuck your mask, like all that.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some, don't get me wrong, there was people wearing face coverings and stuff. I would say 1% maybe, you
Oh
know.
wow, okay, damn.
And it wasn't the guys with 1%er on their fucking
Right. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
wasn't those. But
Here.
no,
Oh,
I think there needs to be a happy medium. I'm not for the government or anyone, telling us what to do. On the flip side, being a responsible individual, responsible for your own safety, and I think we do have an obligation to our communities. I don't think that's the government's job to tell me that, but um, I think we need to be. I guess what I'm trying to say, the individual as an individual, I would like to see more people, um, take things more seriously as far as when you're out in public. I mean, if you want to go to the rally and stuff, that's fine. I get it. And there's a lot of people, you could attend the rally in a fairly social distance way. If you're out on your bike, you're just riding the hills. Um, Obviously that all goes out the window. If you're going down Main Street Sturgis, it's packed. I saw some photos too. I saw there was a couple different photos circulating on Facebook. You know, this is Sturgis this morning. Like all these people are gonna die. And another one, it was, a picture of Main Street, just this giant crowd, and it's it's going to be a great time to buy a bike in 2 weeks, when all these people are dead. And for one, I think that's kind of distasteful, making light of
Ridiculous.
a situation like that. Secondly, as somebody who works in Sturgis, I could tell you right off the bat, I was like, that's one of them was like, this is Sturgis this morning. I was like, that is not Main Street this morning, because I am driving right by it, and that's not how it looks.
Yeah. Even so, and that I fully agree with you. I was literally hours away from ventilator. Literally, they were setting it apart for me, and if my lungs didn't react, within that time frame, I was gonna get put on one. I had already had that conversation with my family members. I called all my close friends. I told them, hey, like, this is about to happen. You know what I mean? If I don't improve within the next couple hours or so, luckily by some miracle of God, literally some miracle of God, within that time frame, my lungs started slightly improving, and that kind of saved me. But even that being said, right? Like, if there was a big red exit life button, I would have hit it like 5 times.
That bad.
Right? And it was that painful and that disconcerting, and you're just that tired, and there's nobody there, and you got to fight it by yourself.
Yeah.
And even all that being said, man, I feel like there needs to be a happy medium. You can't just shut down the world. You can't just shut down the economy. You can't just shut down people's lives. You know what I mean? There has to be a happy medium, right? Where if I would have died there on that bed, right? And I would have done all the right things, worn my mask when I had to, social distance, followed all the common sense, fuck the government, right?
Yeah.
Just follow, like you said,
Wash your hands.
follow all the common sense rules that you're supposed to follow when there's a fucking pandemic out there, right? If I would have done all that, right, and I still would have died, I would have been okay with it, right? Like, my mind would have been like, fuck it. I did
Shit
everything.
happens.
Yeah. Exactly. Shit happens. Shit happens to everybody. Everyone's got an expiration date. I did what the fuck. I did what I had to do. And you know what? It still got me. Okay. The reason why I was so disappointed with myself was because I didn't do those things, and I did it to myself. And the way the doctor explained it to me made a lot of sense to me. It was like, let's just say a mask works 50% of the time. Let's say it works 40% of the time. Shit. Let's say it works 10% of the time, right? Let's say social distancing works 10% of the time, 50, whatever number you want to put on it, 5% of the time, right?
Yeah.
Is that inconvenience worth maybe that 5% chance that you didn't have to put your entire fucking family through 2 weeks of pain? I mean, that answer's fucking easy. It's easy. Yes, absolutely. Go through that minor inconvenience. I just think it's become so highly politicized that people aren't thinking correctly, right? Where, go to work. Yeah, make money. Yeah, open shit up, but fucking be responsible about it. Like you said, there's got to be a happy medium. There's got to be a place in between where it's not all the way left, all the way right. And, it's only these two factions. And, you got people that are scared and aren't doing shit with their lives. And then you got people on the other side that are being irresponsible. Right. So, like, my hope and my goal would be for people to smarten up and meet in the middle, just like Ron said. Like, find that happy medium where you're washing your hands, you understand that this is real, you're wearing a fucking mask, you're social distancing, but at the same time, you're still going about your life in a way that's productive, right? That would be my hope.
Absolutely, man. That's well said. Just from a personal perspective, like, you don't look like a dude from even not just media or anything, but some of the other sources I've read about and seen, even stuff from CDC. And I mean, you don't look like a dude that you wouldn't be my first guess on somebody that would be like, hey, if this dude gets COVID, I would just by looking, I don't know your medical history or whatever, I'd be like, yeah, that dude's gonna be fine. And like you said, that so that's I mean, that's good on you, man, for speaking out as far as like.
Yeah, because I had that same attitude, brother, where it was like, just like you said, it ain't gonna happen to me, and if it does happen to me, shit, I'll be fine.
Yeah, like I'm
I'll
healthy.
have yeah, I'll
Yeah.
have flu-like symptoms for a day or two, and I'm gonna be chill. Well, guess what, motherfucker? You ended up hours away from a ventilator, almost dead, because you're stupid. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, don't be stupid.
Right.
And I hope other people can learn from what happened to me and not be so stupid and not be so gun ho. But also, like Ron said, I hope people can also start living their life
Yeah.
and not be so scared about it. Right? It's like it exists. It's here. Be responsible and be cognizant of other people when you're in public, but go out in public, go enjoy life, go to work is the big one.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's just there's got to be that happy medium, man. And it's just like I wish more people would spend more time getting different sources and different sides of things to find that happy medium and to understand that it doesn't have to be all the way stupid like my way, and it doesn't have to be all the way I'm so scared I'm not going to leave my house either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said. 100%. 100%. So you said before the ventilator you had to react. If you didn't react, then it was ventilator. If you what did you have to react to? What did with your age and physical condition versus the old man next to you, like you said, or the 300-pounder? How did they treat you? I mean, what was their first go to? Because your condition started from 100. It didn't go and creep up, and
Yeah, yeah,
it was
yeah. That's
boom.
that's actually a good question. So what happened was, God bless the VA. I'd gone to the VA twice, right? Yeah, Ron knows what's up. I'd gone to the VA twice, man, just feeling like absolute trash, right? And both times they were like, "Get the fuck out," you know what I mean? So the second time, I can't remember the exact date off the top of my head. I think it was Friday, a couple weeks ago, or Thursday or Sat, one of those days, man. So I went to the VA, and I couldn't fucking walk 50 feet without getting out
Jesus.
of breath, and my temperature was 104 degrees,
Ooh.
and I was shaking,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and I was fucked. But they brought my temperature down. I think when I left, it was like 101. And they were like, "Hey, get out. We need the bed space." Um, so what happened was,
Jeez.
I try to do the right thing, try to isolate away from my parents. And a friend of mine and I went to we got a hotel room. We're like, okay, we're gonna isolate. But literally 2 hours later, uh, it just so fucking happened that the room that we got was on the second fucking floor, right? So, I try to walk up those stairs. I got to the room, and as soon as I got to the room, I knew there was something wrong. There was no way that I could catch my breath. There was no breathing. There was nothing that I can do. I was burning the fuck up. Like I was in trouble. And I never, ever, ever call for help, ever, ever, for any fucking reason. I'm that guy that's like, fuck the paramedics, right? I got this, right? And I knew I was in trouble. So we called right away. Paramedics got there. I was blue. My lips were blue. My capillary refill wasn't there. And I was struggling. I believe they put me on the gurney and I passed out. Um,
Oh wow.
I woke back up in the ambulance. They had O2 on me. I think my O2 saturation level at that point was like 84, 85. So I was struggling. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
struggling. That's not good.
That's not great.
But Ron can tell. Ron can
Yeah,
tell
that's
you.
Yeah.
I want to be closer to 97, 100.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
Yes.
shooting for 100.
A solid
Yeah.
B
Yeah,
minus.
yeah, yeah. So I passed out on the way there. I woke up in the back of the ambulance. They had me on O2. It kind of woke me up. But that entire thing is just a blur. I ended up in the ICU, and when I got there, they kind of stabilized me a little bit. They got my air up to, I think it was like 87, 88, but then I crashed again the next day. The next day again crashed. I was, again sitting like 84s, and I was cognizant enough to be able to like almost speak. And the doc came in. He was like, "Hey man, look." He's like, if you don't improve here within the next couple hours, like we're gonna have to intubate you. We're gonna have to put you down. And that's when I had to have like it's a really serious heart to heart conversation with myself. Because I was a medic in the army, and I have that background, and I knew that, if I'm getting put under, it's chances are not very good, right? So luckily I had a doctor that gave me a chance.
Yeah.
right? Because another doctor could have easily just put me on the venti there.
Just hit that slap the easy button and hook up the
Slap.
tubes and go.
Well, and I was asking for the easy button. If I'm honest, man, I was done.
No, I
I
feel
quit.
you. Yeah, I don't
I
blame you.
quit.
I
I
mean, I don't
quit.
think anybody could have blamed you for wanting it. It's a good thing you waited that extra day or two, and that's probably your mentality of getting through everything you
It
got
was it
through.
was it was literally hours.
Yeah,
Hours. It wasn't even day. It was hours. Like he said, you're gonna react. We're gonna give you a couple hours to react because he saw that I was done. Like he saw that I was pressing the button.
yeah,
Like I said, I had a conversation with my brother and one of my closest friends. I was like, hey, I'm going on this. Like I'm asking for
yeah.
it.
Right.
Almost. You know what I mean? Yeah, like I was done.
Yeah,
I was
because
done
you
at that
know,
point. Yeah.
yeah. Once you go on an event, man, that's not a
Yeah.
good sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I couldn't take it anymore. It's just
No, I don't blame you a
yeah.
bit, man. I'm just
I
saying.
Yeah, it's
I'm just saying with your medical background and stuff. I think a
I
lot of
knew. I knew.
people might have taken that and been like, "Hey, oh, you're gonna knock me out," but it's
Oh, I
more
knew.
than and once
oh
you
yeah,
once you do that, it's you're not
That's
you're not totally fucked, but it's not good.
that's how done I was.
Oh,
And that's
fuck.
how serious like this shit is. You know what I mean? And that's why, looking back at it, like I get so angry at myself for the way that I thought and the way that I used to think about it, right? Like I said earlier, maybe this stupid fucking thing has a 10% chance of fucking saving
yeah,
me from that pain and saving, and it's not even me, fuck me, my family, to have that conversation with my family. You know what I mean? And they
yeah,
can't fucking be there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
They can't be there to support me. They
Oh,
can't even like, be in the room and be like, nah, fuck this, you got this, give me that hope. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
Um
that's such a
it's
unique
just
thing to this, man. Like that's as far as I know, man. That's never been the case. Anybody in the ICU, not anybody, but for the most part, most people in the ICU for whatever they're in there for, where traumatic injury or cardiac event, whatever it may be, before now, they've always had that hand up, of having family there and God forbid, even the worst case scenario, at least family's there, you can kind of go
Mhm.
in peace. But shit, man, like you said, you were all alone. I mean, you were literally all alone. That's not a figure of speech. Like no one
Yep.
was in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that just makes that mental struggle even more, accentuated. You know what I mean? It's as much of a mental struggle as it is a physical struggle, right? And I think I'll be wearing the scars of this for the rest of my life, man. Like I'm afraid to go fall asleep. You know what I mean? Because it's just like
thanks for that follow,
get my breathing.
McLuthers. What is
I
Meyer?
can't
Thank
walk
you.
50 feet
Got a
without
question.
fucking being out of
Guess
breath.
who?
Like you guys see me
We
here
will guess
chilling
after
like I'm
this.
good.
We will
But as
guess
soon as
after
I get up
this.
to move, like I literally can't walk 50 feet without being out of breath, having to stop and having to chill. You know what I mean? I think I walked the furthest that I've walked since I ended up in the ICU today. And it was hard as shit. And who knows if I'll ever be the same.
Yeah.
Man, that's gotta be tough. I mean, you look like a fit dude, like you probably enjoy working out and stuff. I mean, um is that something your medical team has talked to you about at all? Is there any kind of timeline or any
Yeah, so they say within a month I should be able to take care of myself. Where like I can do the normal shit, like go to the grocery store and buy myself my fucking groceries. You know what I mean? Not having to have somebody do it for me.
Yeah.
But as far as like getting back to like what I used to be, like where I went on a 5 mile hike in 103 degree weather, like 2 weeks ago, 3 to 6 months, if ever. Who knows? Yeah.
It's kind of the fuck thing about all this too is that we're kind of building data as we go. I mean, even it's kind of, to me at least, I'm not a doctor or anything, but you see some of these people who are like experts and stuff, and I'm like, man, this thing's still so new. I don't think there's people way smarter than me that know way more than me for sure. But I have a hard time calling anyone an expert on something that we've only known about for a couple months, a few months now, and that That's unfortunate, man. I just thank you for coming on for I don't know. I wanted to say that earlier, but yeah, it's kind of cool because I haven't really had a chance to sit down and talk with anyone who's had, especially such a um,
Aggressive contact,
aggressive. Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it, Jordan. Yeah,
violent
Yes,
momentum.
it,
Yeah,
it's painful emotionally and physically, and it's painful for the people that are wearing it with you, and it's even more painful because they can't be there for you. So like, why be stupid and take those chances is my thing, and that's kind of like my big message is like, don't be a fucking idiot, man. If you can have a little bit of inconvenience to possibly prevent yourself and your family of going through this, just why not do it, right?
yeah,
Like I said, it's just become so highly politicized that I wish there was a separation between the two, right? I'm the biggest gun-toting, fucking freedom-loving Republican you'll ever fucking meet. But that shouldn't have shit to do.
yeah,
And Jordan
yeah,
knows this.
yeah.
Yeah. But it shouldn't have shit to do with this. They should be two
Absolutely.
totally, completely separate fucking things.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's become this big, jumbled up fucking political mess where it's like, hey, if you're a fucking Republican and you want to go to fucking work, well, guess what? You got to follow these rules. But if you're holding up a sign that says the right thing, well, you good to go. You know what I mean? It's just so fucking stupid. It's just so politicized and it's so dumb. And like, if there's gonna be rules for this shit, right? Got it. Check, Roger, follow, not a big deal. But those rules have to apply to fucking everybody the same way, or this shit
equal.
just
Yeah,
isn't gonna
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what? Okay, so even if I did all the right things, and I'm going to now, even if supposedly I can't get it again or whatever the case might be, I'm gonna do all the right fucking things, just to set the example, right?
Yeah.
But like, everybody needs to fucking do it also, right? And my big thing is, it doesn't fucking matter what side of the spectrum you're at, or whether you fucking believe about racial injustice or not racial, or whatever the fucking case might be. Those rules need to apply whether you want to protest or riot
Yeah.
or do whatever the fuck you want to do. All the rules need to apply equally to fucking everybody.
Absolutely.
Period. End of story. And that is where my frustration is right now.
I get it. I feel it.
good idea. Oh,
Yeah.
I was just saying, I think that'd be a good idea for everything in general.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
if we could
Yeah.
equal, you know what I mean? Like, hey man,
Keep it
what are
simple,
you
right? Yeah. God
if you're
forbid.
a shithead, if you're
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, man. It's just I look on the news and I see all these fucking morons, you know, rioting and protesting in front of fucking courthouses and doing all that. Got it. I get it. Not a big deal. If that's what you want to do, do it. But holy shit, motherfuckers, we're in a pandemic
Hmm.
where those stupid decisions that you're making could potentially affect somebody else, right?
Absolutely.
So that's where, like, you asked about the rally earlier. That's my only. Again, I don't want this to come from government. I think the this has been so politicized that it's made compliance worse. I don't think anyone would argue against that, really. So that's why you have things like the rally, and I think that was a big thing for a lot of people at the rally. Like, fuck you, we're all here, we're all huge group of people in one tiny little city of Sturgis, normally
Right.
population like 6,000,
Yeah.
and that place, it's weird, man. If you've never been, I would suggest, when this is all maybe years from now, I definitely go to the Sturgis motorcycle rally. But I would also recommend then, I don't know, maybe the next year or something, go during like the spring or something when there's not. It's kind of crazy, man. It's like being at I don't know, it's like being at Disneyland when it's closed. It's kind of crazy. Thank God, man, there's nothing. it's weird.
Is
But anyway,
is it like being in the mall as they shut all the stuff down and you're the last one walking out? Lights are shutting off behind you. Everything's everything's locked in. You better go.
it
Ghost
was
town.
just such a contrast because like anyone who's been to Sturgis for the rally and only for the rally,
Yeah.
I mean that's what they have in their mind. And you go there any other time of year, man,
Hey.
it's a tiny little town. There's nothing going on.
At
And
all.
it's the whole city's economy is so it runs on the rally.
Yeah,
So I
that
mean,
rally was happening regardless this year.
yeah, the city is essentially built for the
Oh
rally.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, so it is. It's almost like a theme park that's closed for,
Yeah.
51 weeks of the year.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah,
but
man.
anyway,
I get that. I get that attitude, that big fuck you attitude, right? And I get it because of the inequality of the rule setting or the rule following, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, and I'm not
like
saying it's right. I'm just
it's
saying
just
I think that's
it's
what.
just like I understand it though. It's not right. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. It's not
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
right. Doesn't matter whether it's left or right. It's not right either way. But I understand why, you got these 1%ers and these 3%ers coming out and they're like, fuck you. The rules aren't applying to you. Why are they going to apply to me? Right. And it's just like that shit needs that frame of mind is why I almost died 7 days ago.
Yeah. I mean that's point blank right there. Cause and effect.
Yeah.
Pretty
So
much.
that needs to change, man. It needs to change like yesterday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like everyone's trying to one up themselves and kind of say like, hey, like, these rules are not going to apply to me because they don't apply to you, and it's just getting people fucking killed.
Right. No, that makes sense. No, and we obviously nobody wants that. Um, but yeah, it's definitely some unique situations up there in your neck of the woods, Ron. But I don't think you're going to see any crazy stories out of the media. I don't think you're going to see any big ridiculous because again, it's big old conspiracy theorist that I am. It's just that's a joke by the way for everyone watching. It's one of those like how deep does it go? And now I'm gonna backtrack way back to the very beginning. You were a medic in the army, right, James?
Yes, sir.
How long?
About 9 years.
9 years. So call it a decade. I'm pretty sure. And Ron, you're both in the military. You pretty much had every vaccine, drug, shot, and everything shoved down your throat and in your arm that was pretty much available at the time of enlistment and deployment. I'm pretty sure, right? Is that still how it works?
Roger that.
I mean, it's
no
like,
choice.
yeah, you put on a conveyor belt and people just stick you with needles as you walk down the hall. I mean, so
I'm pretty sure I got the Hep B vaccine series like 9, dude. I don't know.
Like 85 times, yeah.
I remember that one. They'd be like, "Hey, you need Hep B." I'd be like, "Dude, I've had so many of those."
It's a new strain, bro. It's a new strain. It's Corona Hep. You got to get it. That COVID Hep's gonna get you. Now I put it in the universe. Here comes the COVID hepatitis. You're welcome, world. Anything I can do to make 2020 better, you're welcome. You heard it here first. But let's say go with the vaccine stuff. So serious note. This. I mean, you both have had tons of vaccines. I think the last vaccine I had was like senior year or maybe junior because I had transferred. It was something weird. But I can tell you right now, if the Bill Gates vaccine comes out on Tuesday, I'm ghosting Wednesday morning. I'm gone. But I just, that's the conspiracy-ishness. I'm going to get that out of the way. But, like, I don't think this is even a vaccinable thing because clearly, at some point or another, you've had something in your system. And you've been overseas. I mean, you were literally 180 degrees around the world in the thick of it, in the dustiest, worst conditions. And I can't imagine, obviously, I've never been there and I never will be, and I'll never grasp it, but I can't imagine what that is compared to what your body's been through, your lungs, heart, liver, brain, all the impacts, whatever. And you got to deal with both of the sides. And then the part that nobody talks about is the mental side of that from, you're sitting in that room alone, you're laying there alone, you're alone, and then you're back, and now it's like, what do I do? So looking at vaccines and looking at it, do you think it's going to help? Do you think it's something that they should even waste money on, or should they just continue to prevent what's there?
I think as Ron mentioned earlier, we just don't have enough information. We just don't fucking know. Like
Yeah.
literally, like fucking specialists, pulmonologists coming in there, literally telling me like, I don't fucking know if you're gonna be okay because we don't know who's okay and who's not okay. You know what I mean? There's just not information. There's not enough information to know what this really fucking is yet. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I think too many people get ahead of themselves and say, "Oh, it's like the flu," or "It's like this," or "It's like that." And I just don't think there's enough information out there to know. So currently, right now, to be like, "All right, there's a fucking vaccine right now. Everybody fucking take it." My personal
Pass.
opinion, would be like, we don't even know what this is yet.
Correct.
You know what I
Well,
mean? So how do we know if this is something that is going to help me or hurt me, right? Maybe they give me that vaccine and fucking I had such an extreme case that I get fucked again, right?
Right.
There's just not enough information. Can I say no, I would never take the vaccine? No, I can't say that just because of what I've been
Right.
through. Right?
Right.
If somebody could convince me that it was safe and there's enough science behind it and there's enough time behind it, fuck it, I'll take it. Just because I don't want to go through that shit
Right.
again.
Absolutely
But
not.
right now, we just don't know. Again, somebody give me that like vaccine and that shit could come right back up and I could end up in the fucking ICU again. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
It's just we don't know yet.
thank you for saying that. That's
Yeah.
like that seems to be so difficult for people to say nowadays. Is I don't know, and like I don't know why that's not an okay answer, especially for something like this. There's just not enough data out there for you. I like that response because I would say
And
like at the end of the day, I don't fucking know. I don't know, man, and I don't rather than get on my soapbox and talk about one thing or the other. Like I wish, man, I wish more people were willing to say that because like
Yeah, and I think that that's been the biggest takeaway from my friends that have asked me, right? They all want to know like what was your underlying condition or why did you end up there or how did you get it? And I'm like,
I don't
guys,
know.
guys, I wish I had an answer that would make you feel better, but I don't fucking know, right?
yeah,
Nobody knows.
one and
Take the
human
take the precautions because nobody knows. You know what I mean?
humans are so different, anyways. Because I mean, there's shit, man. I love peanut butter. Dude, there's plenty of people out there that you give them a spoonful of peanut butter and fucking die. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean,
Everyone reacts differently to different
so
shit
what do you
too.
do
So
though, Ron? Do you just outlaw peanuts and shut down the stores that sell them, or do you put a label on the jar that says, "Hey, dummy, if you're not supposed to eat this, don't eat it or you die"?
yeah, or like all the drug commercials and shit for prescription meds, and they're all like,
Correct.
do not do not take Trulia if you're allergic to Trulia. Oh no shit.
Well,
Like,
thank you. But it's how sad is it that apparently kind of need that, that's something
yeah.
we need. But um, let's see.
Yeah, and those
Also,
those those simple rules need to be applied to this. Like something
yeah,
as stupid as that, right? Like, hey, motherfucker, take all the precautions, but go about your life.
right. And like you said, the word I liked is precaution because the vaccine. I don't think, like you said, hey, we don't have enough data, so it's not going to work. He said it won't work. Putin doesn't have it. Nobody has it. Boris doesn't have it. Nobody's got it. Okay, chat. Nobody. Nobody's got the damn thing figured out. But what I feel like we should be really spending this time and money, God knows how much money on, is a treatable program for stage 1, 2, and 3. Treat COVID like a Subaru. You got stages 1 through 48. Okay, you're gonna pick something. You might not need the full built engine and the new turbo, but maybe you just need a little bit of exhaust work and a little bit of a little tune up here. Change the oil, new spark plugs, get you cleaned out, new cat, and just back on the road, Jack. That's the thing. You got to.
I
I feel like we need to be able to just treat it. Hey, little Timmy over here went to school and got it. Okay, little Timmy's 7. Little Timmy needs to take this, this, and this, and not see anybody for 2 weeks. Okay,
I couldn't
little,
agree with you.
you
I couldn't
know,
agree with you more, man. I think the biggest issue that I found in treatment was that there is no there's no treatment for it prior to you getting really bad,
correct.
right? Unless you end up like me in the ICU, there's no treatment other than take some fucking Tylenol
Oh no,
and go
you can't do
to
that.
business, right?
Can't recommend that anymore. No, no,
So
no. Not
so you
allowed.
have to literally wait until like you're in the ICU before you're getting hydrochloroquine, which I got, before you're getting remdesivir, which I got, before you're getting, platelet transfers, which I didn't get because my blood type is super weird. But like you have to wait until you're literally on your deathbed and you're struggling to breathe before they start treating you with that shit,
Does
right?
that make
So
sense to
it's
you
like,
though?
no, absolutely fucking not.
No, that doesn't.
I mean,
I would even as an EMT, really basic provider level, like most things in medicine, you want to get ahead of, not be reactionary.
I
That's why
mean,
blood pressure meds. If you're high blood pressure, you take blood pressure meds. You don't just let it fucking skyrocket till you stroke out one day.
right. But I mean, like you said, you don't know till you're on your deathbed. But does that make any sense? I mean, what am I supposed to do? Rely on the Flintstones vitamin from third grade to combat this till I get deathly sick? I don't
Pretty
think
much.
I
I mean,
mean,
that is really
what,
that is the direction. That is literally the direction that we're taking in fighting this thing, right?
yeah.
It's like Ron said, be reactionary. Wait till the motherfucker ends up in the ICU, and then we'll throw a bunch of shit at him, right? It's
Yeah.
like I'm telling you guys, I went to the VA twice, 2 times,
Got
like
nothing.
deathly sick. They kicked me out of there with some fucking Tylenol. You know what I mean? And an inhaler.
Did the
right?
VA test you for COVID? Did they do the swab? I'm curious.
What's that?
Did the VA swab you at all for the COVID, the nasal thing, or did they do any?
Yes.
They did. Okay.
Yeah, they did.
Okay. So did they ever give you a result on that from the VA, or did you just
Yes.
end? Oh, they did. So they confirmed you're positive, 100%.
Oh yeah.
And they still did that.
Oh, they still kicked me the fuck out. Yeah.
Shocker. Chat. Shocker. I mean, now, granted, I've never experienced the VA. The only VA I've ever dealt with is writing home loans for people, and that's it. And even that experience was a struggle and a half. So being, I can't. I hate it. The VA just pisses me off from all the stories I hear and
let the government run your health there.
that pass. Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, that's a whole nother episode right there. Boys.
Yeah. We'll have to set up another.
Yeah, that would.
2 hours for that.
That would have to be a good one. That might be a series.
When the ambulance picked me up, and I came to, I literally said, "Do not take me to the fucking VA." I said, "Take me to the closest real hospital." I don't.
He said real.
I don't care if I got to spend the rest of my fucking life paying these medical bills off. Do not take me to.
I'm sorry.
I will die there.
That's terrible. I should not be laughing. I'm not laughing at you, but that. I mean, come on, people. That it's a problem. It's a problem. It's. Oh my. Oh, it just irritates me. It just really grinds my gears.
You mentioned you got remdesivir and hydroxychloroquine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Could you just speak on that a little bit? What was your personal experience? I haven't spoken to anybody personally who has had that, for therapeutic treatment that was in the ICU or anything. So
absolutely. So first and foremost, I shit you not, no lie. Before they gave me the hydroxychloroquine, the doctor asked me, he's like, "Hey, like, what are your political leanings and how do you feel about this?" Like,
wait, what?
I swear.
Time out. Hang on.
I swear.
Like a normal thing to.
I swear.
That's your treatment plan.
Because again, there's such a fucking divide. People on the left are like, Trump said it, so it's stupid. Don't try it. And then people on the right are like, it cures everything because Trump said it, right? Yeah. It's just like, you know what I mean? So,
and the truth is in the middle usually.
And the truth is it's exactly in the fucking middle.
Yeah.
It's exact. Do I know if it helped? No fucking clue. None. Zero.
Yeah.
No clue. I have no idea. None. Like I said.
I mean, how much did you take? Do you remember how much HCQ they gave you?
I don't
you had to
remember
guess.
off the top of my head. I don't remember.
Okay, no worries. No, yeah,
I know.
I took
it. I took it once a day for 5 days.
Okay, so whatever.
Yeah, once a day for 5 days.
I think it was like 10 milligrams or something, or 5. It was a small. So I don't need this, but I was just once a day for 5 days. Was
once
that
a day
towards
for 5
the?
Days. Same thing with the remdesivir.
Okay.
Once a day for 5 days. Day 2 is when I had that scare where I was about to be on the venti, and that's kind of when it started getting better, and I was 2 days into both of those treatments. So,
Wow.
It definitely didn't seem to hurt in your case, but who knows?
It didn't hurt me for sure. It for sure didn't hurt me.
Well, you're
Did
definitely
it help me?
yeah.
I mean, you guys can infer, right? I'm going to guess that it was second day in, and somehow, some way, after being sick and only getting worse for 8 days, on the second day of those treatments, I started to improve. So I'm going to infer that it did,
Yeah.
but can I say that it did? I don't know.
We'll call this the Mike O'Hearn effect. We'll just assume that 100% of his gains are actually from the multivitamin and the once a day fish oil. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm with you, bro. I'm sure it helped.
Yeah.
It helped, but the other stuff helped too. So, yeah, no.
Yeah, the trenbolone
yeah,
sandwiches
yeah,
don't
exactly. His diet's probably a little thick.
No.
So, does that feel accurate for your experience with the drugs? Does it feel kind of spot? It's like, yeah, it helped, but how much? I don't know. But it did. It's in there.
Yeah, like I said, I was 2 days into those treatments, and after only getting worse for 8 days, I got better, right? So one can only infer
Yeah.
that it did help. I mean, it definitely didn't hinder.
Yeah.
So, and like Jordan said, how much did it help? I don't know.
We'll never know. But it helps. That's all that matters. So, period.
Yep.
And this is a good time to mention, by the way, I am not a doctor. James and Ron are not doctors. I mean, medic in the Army, he's EMT, but listen, we are not medical professionals. This is not advice. This is nothing you should take seriously or consider or do on your own at home. Always consult your at-home physician or anybody that you trust to give you medical advice on your own outside of you. This is YouTube, okay? Just stop. We're not doctors, all right? Okay. So anyways, now that that's done, I have a couple people in the chat here, guys. And I just kind of wanted, just kind of the median point here. We're going to kind of have some twisty turns. We have, first and foremost, one of our channel regulars, Kylan, stopped by to say hello. So hello, thanks for being here. Big supporter. And then we have E. Weathersmeyer wants us to guess who this MF is. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Ron, you want to take a stab at who that might be? E. Weathersmeyer?
That'd be Emily. That'd be my sister.
Boy, howdy. I think you're spot on there, Jimmy. All right, excellent. Good. Miss Weathersmeyer, thanks for joining. We're glad you're here. I appreciate the follow, which reminds me, if you are watching and you're enjoying this podcast and you want to... Hey, Callie, what's up, homie? How you doing, buddy? Thanks for watching, man. There's some questions in the chat if you want to know anything. There's no topics that are off limits, correct, boys? We're open to anything.
Open.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
open
I'm on the
book.
plastic couch, so.
We're like the almanac. Anything goes, okay? But yeah, if you haven't already, if you hit the follow button, you support the channel for free. It doesn't cost you anything. It lets people know that we're here. It helps boost our videos. And then on YouTube as well, if you subscribe, clicking the button's free. We're good. But speaking of things being free, you, sir, are definitely going to have some medical bills of some sort. I'm guessing the Juicy Juice box and the orange juice they gave you probably wasn't 45 cents at the vending machine. So
no, my bill was, I believe, $98,000. Somewhere around those lines, yeah.
Ooh. That's,
Yeah. So I'm working
Okay.
with the VA to see if they'll cover. We're seeing we're seeing what can possibly happen there. So stay tuned for that. Like I said, right now, honestly, I could give two fucks. I'll deal with that when it comes. I'm alive. I get to see the sunrise. And really that's what's important to me. But eventually that'll definitely be a fight that I'll have to fight.
I mean, 100 G's to respawn. That seems like a good deal. I'm in.
For sure.
Hey, I dig it. I mean, that's a steal. But listen, while we're on that subject, guys, in the description, there is a GoFundMe link. If you can throw a few dollars James's way, it'd be greatly appreciated. Any donations on this channel through the end of the month are going to go to him as well. So I don't get a whole lot, so don't be thinking it's millions coming your way, but I do have some supporters that like to help out. So if they are feeling charitable, it's all yours, buddy. That's from us to you. So when this video is done, we're gonna make a bunch of clips out of this. Ron, I think I see your wheels turning. You got probably a good 15 to 20, and I want you to feel like you can share it. Put it on Facebook, your Instagram. I don't care. Snapchat, whatever you want, man. You got a Patreon, throw it up there. Because information, as you know, is priceless now. The information that we can get is trash. Even OAN, love those guys, but it's still there's still bias on both sides. So I just want the Walter Cronkite days. Today there was an explosion in Ohio at 4:15 p.m. There was a traffic jam at 4:17 p.m. on the highway behind the explosion. That's it. Have a great night. That's it. Sign off. See you next week. Let me figure it out myself. I don't need your opinion on it. Okay.
It's all becoming op-ed now,
Yeah.
man.
Hey, I don't want
There's no
it.
more news, man. There's
No,
no more news. It's
news,
all an
yeah.
op-ed. Every single thing is an opinion.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's that. That's another that's a whole other episode, you know. So, we got a question from Callie. Question for James. Did they offer the breathing machine or did they force it on you? Okay, Callie, so I'm guessing you're talking about the ventilator. We did talk about this earlier. He's a little late to the show, he said, so I'm going to give you the quick 2 cents. Yes. Short is yes. He's going to give you the rundown.
Yeah, so the way it went down was I was struggling and it was a combination of both. The doc came in and he was like, hey, we're going to give you a couple hours, and if this doesn't improve, we're going to have to ventilate you. And it was also me saying, hey, I can't take it anymore. I need you to ventilate me.
Yeah,
so
right.
it was a combination of both the doctor assessing me and saying, like, hey, you're pretty fucked right now. We might have to do this, and me agreeing, like, hey, like I need to exit stage right. Like, you need to do this for me.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it was forced upon me because I was in agreement with it. But I will say that the doctor gave me some time to react prior to just sticking it down my throat, if that makes sense.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah. So that's the short of it, Callie. Obviously, we'll clip the whole. I think we had about, my notes say about 9 minutes that we talked about the ventilator stuff. So we'll clip it up. We'll post it up for you, Callie. You can go back and read it or listen to it. But yeah, it's definitely, it's an interesting tale because, you know, to swing back to the media, you turn it on and all you hear about is New York needing 648.2 million ventilators for 2 people. And it's like, well, what are these machines? Why? You don't know. I wouldn't have any idea that was that serious until I did some research and Ron explained it to me about a week or 2 weeks ago, you know? So appreciate the question, Callie. Yeah, you're welcome, man. Thanks for watching. We'll be gaming tonight later on, so stay on and watch. Versace water salads in the chat. Now, James, did you ever meet Zach Ansel while you were here in the street heat
I
days?
believe so, yeah.
The law hawk,
yeah.
right? You know, the lawyer, the number
Yeah.
one defense attorney in all of Arizona, which brings me to our next point. If you guys need criminal defense representation and you're in a pinch, call my man Zach at Ramos Law Firm in Scottsdale, okay? Just hit him up. He is the best. But he wants to know, man, what are the details on your Mustang? I put some pictures of the Mustang in the slideshow to add to the photos because that's my main memory with you. You know, when somebody like mentioned your name after you moved, or I saw you post something, what I thought was the dude with the black freaking Mustang with the fancy ass wheels and the green ass headlights, and he's got the whoosh machine and the Nagasaki Hurricane, and I'm like, damn. I need to step that game up.
Oh, this is a painful story, and
right?
And I'm horrified that he asked, but I'm gonna answer.
Okay.
This was, man, about 4 years ago. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer.
It's been a minute.
Yes, 2016, I believe. So 4 years ago. Yeah. So I wasn't the smartest person back then, and I used to do a lot of canyon carving and a lot of hill climbing and a lot of crazy stuff. And
interesting.
You know, the car had about 650 horsepower, and it had stock brakes and
for weight reduction.
And it ended up somehow on its own, by no fault of my own, being driven off a cliff.
Well, that cliff shouldn't have been standing there. So that's I did. Was that here?
Yeah, man.
Damn.
It was.
Were you in the car?
Yeah, I was definitely in the car.
Did you have a roll bar? You had a cage though, didn't you?
Were you in it?
Yeah.
Well, like, I mean, you know, it's honestly, Ron, once you get out here and I take you to the Bell Road meet, you'll be like, haha, that's why you asked if he was in his own car.
Yeah.
Phoenix
Yeah,
things.
true.
So,
true.
you know, but so that the Mustang, right? Did you get hurt in the wreck? Did you walk? You good?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't get too injured. I busted up my arm, hit top of my head, had a little concussion there. But luckily, when it went off, it went off and it landed on all fours and just squatted. Right. So if it would have landed like
You're
sideways or
tumbling.
forward or backwards, I
Yeah,
would have
you're.
tumbled. But I got so lucky that when it landed, it just went boop and it stuck.
Jesus. Yeah. So wow, that's well, okay. So the worst case scenario went as good as it possibly could have.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Yeah, unfortunately, old Betty, as I used to call her, is no more.
so without assuming things, Mustang's gonna Mustang, and you did some Mustang things, and it's just is what it is, guys. So it had a typical demise. So we'll just leave it at
You
that.
got-
We'll close that book up. You know.
Mustang things happen to the Mustang, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no pedestrians were hurt in the film.
You were swerving to avoid a little old lady carrying
Yeah.
her groceries.
Yeah, she was
Definitely.
She was adjusting her face mask and she almost dropped her loaf of bread. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that answers that. Well, actually, no, that doesn't answer. That answers the Mustang. So obviously, you're not like on a Segway or like have a like dog and pony pulling you around town. So what are you driving now? I know you're a car guy, so I'm guessing it's not like a '94 Corolla EX or something. But
no,
I
have a BMW Z4 35 IS drive.
Hardtop?
Oh yeah, it's
It
the
is?
hard top.
Yeah, okay.
I got it tuned. It's on E60, making
Okay.
about 450 horsepower.
Beautiful. That's a fun little toy.
Yeah, it's light as hell. It's pretty.
You
it's
fit in
pretty
that
fast.
thing though? Width wise?
Yeah. I definitely fit in it a little bit better now after losing 20 pounds in the hospital.
Yeah.
But,
See, that was my next question, dude. It's like you freaking knew. So I was gonna ask. So what I want to just make sure. What were you doing for work prior to ventilators day? Like what were you doing for work?
So I work for a company called Tech Slayers, and what we do is we help veterans find jobs or get into schools to find jobs in cybersecurity, hacking, that type of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Are you still with them?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So are you able to like work from home? Have they been pretty accommodating?
They've been Brandon, my CEO, man. I take my hats off to him. He's left me the fuck alone, and he's been like, "Hey, man, whenever you're ready to come back to work, we got you."
Good. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. You definitely. I mean, are you on the phone a lot? Is that a pretty interactive?
Yeah. I'm on the phone a lot. I take a lot of calls. Do some field work as well,
Okay.
but it's very minimal.
Awesome.
You want to give them a plug one more time, just for my
Company's called Tech Slayers. And again, if you're a veteran and you're looking to get into the IT field, no experience needed. We'll hook you up with all the schools and all the certifications that you need to get hooked up with to get a job in DoD, a job in tech security, job even overseas contracting, doing some cool shit. So
awesome.
Some serious fucking money in that contract.
Yeah,
serious money.
Let me tell you.
Serious money. And there's definitely opportunities to do contracting and go overseas and do some cool shit as well.
That's awesome, man. Great. That's great. Now, I know you've always been I don't want to call you a fitness guy, because you're not a fitness guy. You're a healthy dude. You take care of yourself like most of us do nowadays. But at the same time, you went into this thing. You don't know what you're going to come out looking like. You said 20 pounds you dropped in what? How many days would you say? I mean, from day one to recovery.
So when I went into the hospital, I weighed in at 223. When I not left the hospital, excuse me, 2 days before leaving the hospital, I weighed in, I was 194.
Oh.
Yeah. I've gotten back up to about 201 this morning.
Okay. So the gains are coming back.
Yeah,
slowly.
I mean, I didn't fucking eat shit for 6 days.
Oh.
Literally not a single thing.
And I'm sure were you still able to lift out where you were at? Like, did you have access to gyms and equipment, or like prior to the hike? I know, but
of course, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Right.
I was doing my thing as usual.
So you just went full catabolic then. I mean, you just
brother. I did not eat a fucking single thing for 6 days.
Your muscle. I mean, you're just done. You're just gonna eat.
I'm telling you, man. I cannot walk 50 feet right now without like my legs giving out and my fucking lungs just fucking hating me. Like
Damn,
literally,
man.
I cannot walk 50 feet. Like today, I went to fucking Target to get some groceries, and I was like that dude in the little fucking scooter electric chair and shit. People were looking at me like it was fucking crazy.
Well, yeah. I mean, they don't know. But exactly. Again, this is how would they know
Yeah.
unless you have a sign that says, "Hey, I got the COVID." How are they
Hmm.
supposed to know? How are you ever supposed to know what that situation is? So I get it, man. That's shit. I hate
Well,
it.
and like I said, man, like judging a book by its cover just by looking at him, like you look like a young, fucking healthy, fit dude, you know.
Yeah.
But
Nope, can't I can't do shit. Yesterday, like Doc says, like, hey man, you gotta fucking work your lungs. You can't just be fucking laying there. So I got up. I tried doing some push ups, some sit ups, and some squats. I think I did like 15 of each, and I am so sore right now, like so
Really?
sore.
Yeah.
And then like afterwards, right? Or even if I get up and do something, man, like I'll have like that little bit of energy, and literally I'll lay down and I cannot keep my eyes open. Like I physically cannot stay awake. I'm so exhausted. Every
Really?
time I get up and move, I feel like I run a marathon. It's fucking crazy, man. Like this shit's serious, man. It's no joke.
Yeah. So you got to walk a fine line between jump starting your lungs and getting shit like, hey, it's time to work again versus doing too much and overloading. That's a, oof, I feel for you, man. That's tough.
Yeah, I went and did a little bit of lung PT today, and the doc was like, blow into this, saying this, and that, and he's like, yeah, your lungs are like the lungs of an 8-year-old boy right now.
All right, great. That's super good. Okay.
Yeah, man,
Oh,
it's crazy. It's no joke, man. It's no fucking
yeah.
joke. Like if it got my ass, it can get anybody.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
no, for sure.
100%. 100%. Um, yeah, that's sorry. That just kind of blew my mind right there at the end there. So I'm kind of, Ron, I'm gonna
I
let you take over here.
no, I got a question for either one of you guys. It kind of goes back to the, I guess, build on the Mustang thing. I was gonna ask. So I've heard Jordan talk about you a couple times. He's mentioned you, but how did you guys know each other? You said you're living in California now. Were you in Phoenix for a while, or?
Yeah, I was in Phoenix for a while, just car scene. I was really into the car scene with my Mustang. And frequented it and did a lot of stupid shit where a lot of people knew me because of it.
Allegedly, allegedly, allegedly,
Jordan can attest
allegedly.
to
Yeah, allegedly.
that.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe we'll see. Yeah, I know it was a good time. Like the most I would say, I don't want to say recent, but like the last memory, not the most early, but like yeah, basically the last time I remember hanging out with you, we did a cruise and we left that high end speed shop that had that Carrera GT in the showroom on the spinny thing, bro. You remember this day? You damn well remember. Yeah, yeah. We were in the back. Yeah, you had your American flag. You had some chick with you who I don't think you were supposed to have, but she was in your car, and you were like, okay. And I'm like, standard. That's just classic James. Like, just GG's in the chat. I was like golf clapping the whole way up the mountain. But we hit the highway, and I'm in my Challenger, right? And I had never like seen his car go, mind you, Chad. I have never seen the thing just. Pew! I had just gotten my own SRT8 Challenger 6-speed. With the Mustang was a stick, right?
Yes, sir.
That's right. So we were over here just gear banging, and I remember hitting the 101 allegedly down in Sinaloa, Mexico, where we were driving at the time. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, down in Mexico, and we just we must have hit. God, it must have been close to 120, but we did. We went all the way from what I would consider like a most northeasterly corner of a loop all the way up towards Rock Springs Cafe-ish area and didn't stop.
Crazy day, man.
And we had 70, 80, not 100 people behind us, Ron. 100 plus.
Crazy day.
And we had cars from us with superchargers making 5, 6, 700 horsepower to Hellcats that had just come out to 1,000 horsepower Lambos that were just like, meow, pa 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 pa, And we're just chilling, bikes and everything. And we had people with Camrys just chilling, with a melon shooter out the back.
You remember my exhaust falling off that day?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, we stopped at the Loves, and I had 4 zip ties that were tied together, and somebody yanked him and said, he needs these. And I'm like, okay, great, take them. I got oil in the trunk if you need that too. That was it,
Yeah.
And then I remember some guy ran over and was like, what do you have in your trunk? I'm like, I got methanol, bro. That's it. That's all I have. That's all I have. So, but yeah, no, dude, that was a great day. But we did a bunch of cruises, a lot of car showy stuff, and then of course, the Mexico Racing League that everybody's allegedly a member of. Shout out to Street Heat. I'm sure some of you were lurking around
AZ
somewhere. Yeah,
Street Heat. I
right.
remember that
Yeah,
shit.
I didn't have
Yeah.
the balls to post this link in there. I really didn't. I ain't even gonna lie. I didn't. Who knows what could have happened.
It would have been turned
I
into a
just,
shit show.
so at that point, what are you gonna do? But Versace, I see you're still in there, so hopefully that answers your questions on the cars. Did you buy what's his nuts? What the hell was that kid's name? He had the Viper and the Cobalt. You bought the Cobalt from him,
I
though,
bought the
right?
Cobalt. Yeah, I did. Sure did.
What that was the big turbo e car on tire,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Silver.
it was. I got it up to. I got a retune on meth. I got that bitch up to like 507 horsepower.
Wow, on the
That thing was
Ecotec.
crazy. That
All
that thing
hail
was
the 2.2, baby.
that thing was fucking, and it weighed nothing, man. That thing was insane.
And all of you said I was
Way,
crazy for wanting to turbocharge my S10 in high school, so fuck y'all, okay?
way faster than my Mustang.
Yeah, I had the exhaust. I just needed the turbo to go with it. Ronnie knows.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just recently got rid of that thing too. Maybe like a month ago.
Damn, that's crazy. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I love that car. It was always broken, and then you got it and fixed it. I was like, that's dope.
Hmm.
Love to see it. Those are things you love to see. But yeah, Ronnie and I used to do some rallying back in the good old days.
The 2.2, that's what Subaru Rally Team uses for their
Hell yeah.
Vermont sports car. Yeah,
Yeah.
these are 2.2.
I know it's funny how these rally teams can make these motors do what they do for as long as they do, but Tyler Patterson can't get a Subaru engine to last like 4 miles. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing, dog? What are you do? I just want to ask him. I'm like, what?
Went there.
Shout out TXP Media. If you need a sick video done, dude, hit my boy up. It's nasty. There's a lost footage of my old Challenger out there somewhere. I might do something with it. We'll see. But yeah, so. But yeah, it's the cars seem to be a thing that no matter where I've lived, no matter who I've met, cars have always been something you can talk about. And it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, COVID's happening, but I could still drive my car. I could still see people's other cars. I could still think about cars and modify cars and and all this. And I've got a lot of crazy COVID stories, and I'll probably have Ronnie interview me or have some homies interview me in the next couple of weeks to do my story on, which has been
Mm.
crazy. It's something Ron we obviously need to figure out, but it's cars is out here in Phoenix. It's another world, and then
I
Cali
will. I
steps it
will.
up.
I will say that, man. From moving from Phoenix out here, the car scene in Phoenix is unique. It's unlike, and I've been all over the United States. The car scene in Phoenix is unlike any other car scene I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. Ron, you'll love it. It'll absolutely blow your mind. You'll be like, "What a bunch of dumbasses!" and just slap your knee while laughing and throwing your head back. That's all you're gonna do. And I'm like, "Yeah, you're not wrong. It's okay."
Yeah, I've never been, like I said, yeah, the whole time I lived down there before, I've never really been exposed to that. I've always been too busy, which if I seem sorry, I'm kind of shittily prepared for this tonight and stuff. We're in the middle of moving.
That's
So
right. Where are you moving, Ron? Man, it's like you guys are in my brain. Where are you moving, buddy?
So I got hired on with Tempe Fire Medical, so we're going to be moving back to the Valley of the Sun. Actually, we just got a house, a pretty nice house locked down in Maricopa. So a little
Hell
bit of a
yeah.
drive, but we'll
Not
be
bad
in the.
one though.
No, it's from my new address, the Google Maps, from my new address to the Tempe Fire Station 1 is 35 minutes.
And
So
we'll leave it at that for stalker purposes because I know your fan club is growing. I know I saw your Instagram went from like 6 to 12 the other day. So 200%, buddy. Hey, listen, buddy. Okay, somebody call the Shark Tank. Boom, it's blowing up. But yeah, it's no, 100%. I am stoked.
yeah, man, I'm excited. I was to be completely honest, I kind of put in for that job as a bit of a long shot. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't think I had a chance or whatever have you, but yeah, man, when they finally called and told me I was selected, that was pretty awesome. It's a decent pay bump, and it gets us back to Arizona where
Yeah.
my wife's family's all there and stuff too. So
And your family's here, right? I mean,
yep,
mom, sister,
yep.
everybody's here. I'm here. We got some friends
My
that want to come
mom,
visit here. I mean,
yeah,
now
my
this is a
mom's there.
recorded live taping, so god damn it, Mikey, Julio, Elliot, you MFs watching, there is absolutely zero reason to not come visit now. Zero.
Dude,
Not
I
only
gotta
do
sit.
you have your favorite grocery store worker of all time, now you have your favorite EMT of all time. Okay? We might let you read the scroll if you come visit. Maybe. We'll see. Okay? All right.
Congrats on that, Ron.
Hey, thanks, man. Thank you.
Weathersmeyer says he's being modest. It's a McMansion. What? Zillow link. Weathersmeyer, Zillow link me. I want to see this. Whisper it. Let's see that thing. That's awesome. But yeah, Ron, for real though, I'm telling you, I haven't. I got to meet your fam like when we came down for Super Bowl Sunday, when Hilal and I came to visit, right? And I met you guys for. I mean, the boys were how old? I mean, that must have been.
Dominic wasn't even born yet.
No, absolutely not. Number 2 was not even a thought.
Nope.
I want to say Ellis was maybe
one,
Ops.
Yeah, I think he was still pretty. Yeah, he was a baby because we moved out of that house before he turned 1. So yeah, he wouldn't have even been 1 because he had his first birthday up.
Yeah, I never even saw him in person, and I don't even think I got to meet your wife until we left. And it was like, okay, all right, okay, I see you. Like, have a good day. Yeah, it was just crazy. So I'm looking forward to meeting the family and actually seeing you guys, having you out here. So, and the reason I brought that up is, Jay, where you moved from Phoenix back to Cali, is all your family? Where are your? I mean, where do you have your system at? Your family?
Yeah, so it's kind of split. I've got family both in the Phoenix area in Chandler. My sister lives out here. Shout out to her. And my parents and a brother of mine live down here in Southern California. Really, honestly, the reason that I moved down here is because my son's down here and I wanted to be closer to him. If I'm honest, I would not be living in California if I didn't have to.
Hey, amen. How old's your son? I didn't know you had a son. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, man. He's 16 now.
Wow.
So, yeah, he's getting into that stage where he needs Papa supervision.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The best thing you can do for him, man, is just be there.
Yeah, you got to teach him how to run the boost controller and downshift at the same time while brake boosting. It's a skill. It's an art, man. I'm telling you. Can't be bought. It can't be bought, chat.
I realize that's like the dirty little secret of parenting is no one knows what the hell they're doing. So I guess at the end of the day, at least for me, man, as a dad, if I'm there and trying my best, man, that's all we can do.
That's all I can do, man. It's just, like you said, there's no fucking book. You know what I mean? The only thing required is your presence.
Yep. So yeah, parenting experts are kind of like COVID experts. They're full of shit.
Dang, that needs to be on a T-shirt. I feel like I could do really well.
That was an excellent segue.
That's awesome.
That's I don't know, man.
I mean, I mean, yeah, no, that's absolutely. I mean, obviously, I don't have kids. I won't be having kids. That is a child-free life. That is me. However, I'm not anti-children, as Ron knows, and my friend. I'm not like I don't hate kids. Like you screaming at me on the Xbox, yeah, I'm gonna mute you and tell you to shut up. But like I'm not like kick the kid in the head and run. No, I'm not. I'm not Ted Bundy here, so I'll just calm down. But it's like I don't know. It's cool because like obviously. And Jay, I've obviously never met your family, and I can't speak for you, but I know Ron and we had some dope dads. I mean, we had some of probably the best male parenting in the country.
Yeah,
I kid you not.
That's that too.
So for 3 of us to sit here on this random podcast in the middle of all this in 2020, say, yeah, and to be able to have the views that we all seem to pretty much do, there's probably a pattern there, So.
That seems to be the case.
It's personal responsibility, clearly. Parenting involved in that, and that's COVID in a nutshell, really. Just take a step back. And I'll freely admit it. And I know there's people that are waiting to call me out on this at some point. But I was a fake virus guy for about the first 60 days because of the way, again, the information that we had to go off of. You know,
Hey man, I was a fake virus guy until I was on the fucking deathbed in the ICU.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
hey,
So
and I,
I get it, man. I understand, man. I understand why. I understand why it is. It's just because it's just so goddamn politicized, man. And it's just
correct.
like, at least like you said, you got to take a step back and you need to be like, these two different things, right? You know, have your political opinion, and then understand that this is a different beast.
Exactly, I mean, medicine. Period. As we've stated earlier, this will be its own episode soon. Is not something I want any of government officials' sticky fingers touched to. I don't want
No.
any, especially if they've been to the island. I don't want any of that shit anywhere near my health care. But again, that's also coming soon. Another special edition episode. So stay
Oh, you
tuned.
definitely need to have me on for that
Oh,
one.
buddy, yeah. My goal. My goal. These Google meetings, by the way, I can host up to 50 people. Okay.
Jesus.
So my goal with these podcasts, guys, and for everyone watching, the goal isn't to just keep interviewing. It's not a random thing we're doing. It's random, but it's a calculated randomness. So by the time we get to the end of the year, my goal, like 2 weeks before this election, I would love to have 40 to 50 people on here, just to have a real conversation. They've all have been on the podcast by this point, so we'll probably have most of you on here that we've talked to. And I just want to have a roundtable, a 30-second go-to. And when your 30 seconds is up, you respect the pause and you shut up. And I think that video for 2 hours or 3 hours might change how, the far left and the far right and the poor souls of us that are stuck right in the damn middle
Right.
that are trying to pull it together. We're holding on to those two beams, world strongman competition, just no dice. I think
Yeah.
that kind of video might help bring that mold and give that insight to both sides. And that, how we question to start the show is, how do we get people to start talking about these things in a
I
rational.
think that's the biggest thing that we can do right now is talk. Everything's become so like fucking, I'm gonna toss a meme at you, or and then I'm gonna toss one back at you, and that's how we're gonna argue, and we're really not gonna talk about shit. You know what I mean? It's all, and it's on Facebook, and it's on Instagram, and it's on social media, and it's not real life, right? Like
Yeah.
the way people are conversating, the way people are arguing and debating, it would never happen that way in real life or in person.
Absolutely.
It would never happen that way,
No
right?
way. No,
It's
no,
just
no.
it would never happen that way, and it sucks, that I see the country that I fought for, that I went to
Yeah.
war for, that I bled for, that I sent flag draped boxes home for. It sucks to see it become this, where everybody's an internet tough guy and nobody listens to anybody's point of view, and nobody has a conversation in person.
At
Yeah,
all.
and yeah, man, I couldn't have said it better, man. Yeah, we touched on this on one of the previous episodes as well, man. Like, people just need to start talking to each other, and we're not so different. You know what I mean? Like, I work with dudes who are, lifelong Democrats and stuff like that. I work with dudes that are lifelong Republicans and huge Trump supporters and all that. And I mean, we're all just people. At the end of the day, like, we may disagree on some certain things, but even from what I've seen, at least I can only speak to my personal experiences. Even the people on the other sides, the opposing sides or whatever, man, at the end of the day, we generally all want the same thing. We want to, go to work, raise our kids, and, have the best possible outcome for them. And
That's
it's
it.
yeah, yeah.
Literally,
And
that's it. That's
yeah,
literally fucking it.
yeah. And it's so much easier to find common ground speaking with people in person, because when you have the Facebook or Twitter, whatever, there's just zero accountability, and you don't have any of that human interaction of it. And it seems to stifle debate, man. I've seen just in the last 24 hours, somebody post shared a Bernie Sanders thing talking about the economic impact of COVID and all this, that, and the other. Somebody else commented on it. You're like, well, yeah, what do you expect when you forcibly shut down all the small business, and you only let Walmart, Target, Amazon, those are the only ones operating. So no shit that those people are making way more money. And it was like, it was shut down, and that individual actually reached out like, well, I wasn't trying to have an argument and stuff. And that's fine. It's like, whatever, but it just people have a little bit of open-minded dialogue,
I'll say it, man. It's people are debating and arguing online without having that fear of getting punched in the fucking face for saying something stupid. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thank
like
you.
if we're gonna talk in person, chances are we're gonna both be civil because we don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
Right. So we're gonna have an
Amen.
actual civil conversation, unless you're some fucking freak or some extremist or some dumbass. Chances are normal people are gonna have normal conversations, right?
Absolutely.
But when you're on the internet, you're not gonna get punched in the face, so then you act like a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? And that's the problem.
Oh, buddy, I can tell you right now, and this is live to the internet in the world. And by the way, again, I hate to do this, but next week, next broadcast, we will be live on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube at the same damn time, everybody. We're going to reach the entire globe. It's going to be epic. Okay?
Prestige worldwide.
Prestige, yeah, you want to talk about Catalina wine mixer, buddy. Yeah. Damn it, I forgot where I was going. What were you talking about?
Just the way people are
Interact
very inconsiderately and nonchalantly on social media.
Correct. I can tell you, like I said, I'm live on all of this. I know it's going to be on YouTube. Ron's going to put on Spotify and all that great stuff. There's probably people that are going to listen to this just because it's me, and I know who they are, and I'm cool with it. And I know this 100% going into this. Just know that. Me talking directly to you in the camera right now. That if they said any one full complete sentence of what they've said to me on Facebook, and these people live across town. I'm talking, I know where I've been to their house for a car meet, or I know, or I've seen them on a car cruise, or I sold them a car, or whatever it may be. I'm telling you, they wouldn't say half of the shit in their head, let alone let 90% of it even become a thought. And it's not because I think I'm some badass. It's because in person, they can't take the 20 minutes to respond and Google something from somebody else to rebuttal with. That's the problem, is the right likes to educate themselves, the left likes to be educated, and that's the problem. Yep. So there needs to be, like you said, that happy medium, but people got to be okay hearing stuff. And Ronnie, if we sat and talked, if you and I sat together and listened to a conversation that somebody had magically taped from 10 years ago, I tell you, we'd be like, whoa, what the hell's wrong with us? We got some stuff to work out. There's probably a few things, not everything, but there's probably one or two things where we're like, oh, pull back a little bit. Like, whoa, you're getting a little, man. You're getting a little David Koresh on that here, chill. Like, yeah. I get it. But obviously, as you get older, we were young, but it's that you're on the internet, you're behind a monitor, you're on a keyboard. You're not sitting here, you're not shaking someone's hand and sitting down to have a beer and chat.
Yeah.
Where that guy could have a knife or a gun. You're not having a conversation.
Exactly.
If you want to argue, cool. I mean, I'm down to argue, whatever, but just don't be it.
Where's the point, though?
Yeah, where's the point? At what point does it stop becoming irrelevant?
What is this argument bringing in a constructive way, right? That's where the issue lies, is there's nothing constructive about any of what's going on. And people, listening in that know me, I social media is not real life to me. I use it for popcorn and entertainment. That's
it's a tool.
That's what I use it for. Right? I use it to entertain myself and have fun because I understand that's not real life. Right? And so many people are like, this is actually real life. Like, this is what real life is like, and it's just not true. And it's like people get so emotional and so wrapped up in it, and just like they literally live their life that way. They're on their phone the entire fucking day, like Googling and responding and like, arguing and doing all kinds of stupid shit. And it's like, guys, it's not that serious. Have a conversation in person.
Yeah.
And that's my thing.
Well, and then you touched on the emotion thing. I think that's a huge issue. My personal opinion, my personal take on it, man, that the identity politics, man, like it's more and more difficult to have a conversation with people because people more and more on both sides are seeming to feel like, well, if you're attacking my ideas, you're attacking me as a person, and it's like, no, that's not it. I could, fuck, man, socialized medicine or whatever, like universal healthcare, Medicare for all. So like, if I say I'm against that, they're like, immediately they jump to, well, you want people to die, and it's like, no, man, my job involves helping people. Like, I really don't. I can tell you with 100% certainty, I don't want people to die. Like, I've made a career of.
Like, I actually respond to calls so that they don't die.
Yeah, like, and I guess what I'm trying to say is, yeah, just that identity politics, man. I think that definitely shuts down conversation, because it's tough to challenge your own ideals, or anyone else's for that matter, if you've made that who you are, because then that becomes an attack on you as a person, and it's like, I don't think that helps anyone, man.
No. And I want to tie those two things together real quick and bring the social. James, you said social media is not real life. I 100% agree. And real quick, for those watching and might find this on YouTube or might be hearing this, what he means by that, and James, if I'm wrong, stop me immediately. But what I think he is saying is, nobody stops to think about the guy that has 100,000 followers, that is posting a picture of him with his head on a window in an airplane, with a cocktail in his hand. He lands in Thailand to take a picture on the beach, and he's hanging. It's like, whoa! And what it really is he's on some $40 flight to South Florida, and he's on a $10 Uber, and he's on the next flight out in 3 hours, and he's just going to grab this picture and get back, and he's just going to do it for a quick $200 ad. But you're buying it.
Nail on the fucking
man, I gotta
brother.
travel. I gotta get out of here. I gotta spend. He did that on this. Holy shit! This honey plugin is crazy. I'm like, which it is, but that's not a plug. But like, I see all these things. I'm like, nobody understands that there's always there's a reason you're seeing something, and you don't see that backside portion, which, to bring the politics, like you said, the socialized stuff and bringing all the politics back in, tie this together. I have a point. I promise. Here it comes. I don't want I don't want Congress, the Senate. I don't want any of these. You always hear the negotiating. We're talking to the Dems, and we're talking to the Republicans, and they're not wanting to cut, and the Dems want too much, man. We're playing hardball, and they're not blah blah blah. And I see this Pelosi and Schumer, and I see these windbags just piping at the mouth, right, just blowing hot steam. I'm like, okay, pause. I want to see the conversation that you two had with those two people. I don't want to hear you all individually talk for the next 2 hours, 30 minutes apiece on your side of the damn story. I want to see you guys talking at a table. I want to see what you're doing for $174,289.55 a year, which obviously needs to be higher, and you clearly work too many days as you're on recess again.
Yeah,
I think if we had a House and a Senate where everything was like a big brother, you enter and you leave, and I see and hear everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the deal you're making. I want to see who's telling you what. Ron, you're muted, buddy. Can't hear you. But there we go.
No, I agree. The big brother, kind of like in reverse. I'd be all for that. Like the eyes looking at the government.
Yeah, feist these nuts. Okay, I want
exactly.
In. All right,
exactly. Yeah, we never know what happens or if they really talk or what the fuck is. Yeah. It's all just posturing and political shit, and they don't really, both sides, man. They don't really
absolutely.
Do shit.
And honestly, truly. Nothing. Selfishly, I really just wanted to be in the room with AOC when she came up with her idea to save the country by having a pen pal program by buying stamps. That's how we're going to save us. Everybody's going to buy stamps and give me all their information, and I'm going to connect these random pedophiles, people together with children on the other side of the world. No, wrong.
That woman's a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
sorry.
There's actually, believe it or not, Ron, I haven't even told you this, but I've got about 40 hours of hard research and evidence and slideshow stuff ready to go for a 6-hour live special on the squad. Because our home state is Minnesota, James. Both of us, we're from Minnesota. Born, raised, Minnesota. Yeah, hater, okay? The fish is hot. Come on in, let's go. Get out the cold. Yeah, the whole shebang. Just kidding. I'm gonna flip that switch back. But our state they are in shambles.
Fucked.
It is ridiculous. Man. We're not going to bring up Bill High. We're not going to bring up none of that right now. We're not going to bring up walls. There is an episode coming. And believe it or not, my panel, who I got to go over it with Ron, but I think he'll approve, is actually, if it was a teeter-totter, Ron and I are getting thrown in the air versus the libs. There's going to be a lot of lefties that come on that episode because we've had a very right-sided show, and like we've been saying, I'm done hiding behind a keyboard and a phone. I want people to come on and actually show their face and speak their opinions and let people hear them because
it's good to have that perspective, man.
absolutely.
It's good to have that in person back and forth, like you said, where it's like, all right, let me check my phone and Google the shit before I answer you. You know what I mean?
100%.
And I think you guys would get somewhere further having it that way. I like you said, I think a lot of podcasts, a lot of shows, and a lot of people shy away from that. And I don't think it's the right approach.
Yeah,
I would much rather sit.
Yeah.
I would much rather sit here and have like this heated fucking conversation with somebody on the opposite side, face to face, person or not person to person, but
Yeah.
as good as it gets here.
Yeah.
And get somewhere, right? As opposed to what the fuck we're doing now.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, listen, 100%. And again, it's that spot. Hey, you're on the spot. It's like, Ron, I'm looking at you, Ron. What are your thoughts? And you can't be like, oh, let me Google and see what the rebuttal to Ben Shapiro was in December of 2013. No, it's not. I'm not playing that game. Okay. There's no. Oh, my screen. Like, no. Quit alt tabbing out. Stay in the meeting. Let's have a conversation. So. And I don't care, Ron. If we keep getting 100 views of video, dope. That's 100 more than I thought we were gonna get.
Yeah,
Truthfully.
yeah, man.
But there might be one or two people that be like, okay, these guys are off the rocker. This isn't what. And then they're like, okay, I'll listen. And then they listen to it and they're like, okay, well maybe there's something there. Oh, maybe there's something funny they heard. And then they listen for a third time, and then someone clicks, and they're like, holy shit. And then they sit in their chair, naked in a beanbag chair, eating Cheetos at 2 a.m., watching Maury results. And they're like, holy fuck, that AOC might be crazy after all.
Yeah.
One person, I'm amen. Ron, shut it down, send it, we're done. We've done our deed. I'm good. Okay? So, I want to have left and right. I want middle. Ron and I kind of center. I think Ron and I even have, like, where I'm left, he's right, and where he's left, I'm right. And there's a lot of, where we lean. But it's not in like, oh, fuck that guy, Ron. He's an asshole now. No, it's okay, cool. That's how the homie thinks. Sweet, I get it. And I listen to it. And I could tell you, without Ron and a few other homies from high school, it'd be really hard to listen and challenge for other ideas because we've all changed.
Yeah, and then that's where I'm at, man. Look, I wanna smoke my weed. I wanna protect my weed with my guns. If my gay homies want to get married, let them get married.
They go read their Quran or whatever they want to do. I don't care. Yeah, do it.
People want to go to church and pray, or people don't want to go to church and not pray. Whatever the case might be. Like, just
cheers.
Let people take ownership of their own rights and freedoms, as opposed to push my opinion and what I believe is correct for me on you. And I think that's where the problem is.
That's well said, man. Damn, clip it. Somebody clip it. Somebody clip that. Yeah, that was super great. So now that we've kind of covered we've all kind of got our rage machines going. We got our gears ground. We're good. So let's look at the future. So today is August 19th, 2020, 9:16 p.m. We've got a weird about 70-ish days, I think, till the election here. And you're in California. You vote in California as California resident. Are you registered California voter? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, Ron, you'll be voting here
in Arizona.
So you'll be able to register, and so you'll be good.
Yep.
Which is good, honestly. Maricopa shit, that might actually help.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get some literature ready for you. I'll have a nice little welcome basket for you. And since my procrastination, what's that?
I keep up. I was just saying, I kept up with politics more in Arizona even since I've been here than I have in South Dakota. I don't know if that makes me a shitty South Dakotan.
No, because it's because South Dakota's got to figure it out, buddy. Let's be real.
Yeah,
let's be
we
real.
Don't
yeah, exactly. How's that income tax again? How's that work up there?
Yeah, it's non-existent.
Yo, what are those exactly? Yeah, no, I get that. Son of a. Man, we were having a great time right there. I just totally forgot what I was.
Looking towards the future of the election.
That's right.
Election.
Looking towards the future of the election. Got about, let's just call it 70 days. We got. I'm just gonna call the spades as I see them right now. I'm laying the cards out. Okay. I got Joe Biden, and now I believe it's Kamala, not Kamala. I'm not sure because I hear both ways on all the channels, on all the shows. So Miss Harris and Mr. Biden running on the Democratic ticket. I think it's been officially announced.
Yes.
Probably get fact checked and blocked, but whatever. What else is new? And then of course you got Donald and Mike on the Republican ticket. I don't think you're going to see a Bernie come back in the independent spree. He doesn't think he couldn't touch Harris anyways. He was done.
Don't leave out Kanye.
Oh yeah, and that brings we have our celebrity category. I think Joe Exotic's running through Oklahoma Penitentiary on the absentee ballot only write-in. I want to say that Will Smith is running for the 5th election in a row, I believe, just because he does. And then I believe, yes, we have Kanye still in the running. I believe he's going to get his 80,000. He might just be that little top end third stage of nitrous we all need at the end. Okay, Everybody just hold on to your seats. It's Junior hasn't hit the button yet. I don't know if Joe is going to make it in. Ron, you think Joe's got a 2%, 1%? Do you think there's enough impact there where she wants to do it, or do you think she's going to bow out and endorse someone?
No, I don't think she's going to bow out. I think she'll run until the general election, but they won't let her debate or anything.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. That'd be crazy, of course.
I obviously, we all know who I'm voting for, but I do see and sympathize a lot with old JoJo's points of views.
Yeah.
And I think those point of views should be a little bit more mainstream, if I'm honest with you, right? It's a lot more, like I said, like worry about me and you worry about you, which
Absolutely.
is really, really what freedom should be or is. You know what I mean? Obviously, this election is way too important for me to vote anything but Republican, and that's obviously what I'm going to do.
Right.
But I don't think it would hurt for some people to kind of get acquainted with that point of view and kind of see those points of view as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a single one of I would say the three, Biden, Trump, or Joe. There's not a single one that I agree with on everything.
Absolutely not.
And you'll
Absolutely
never,
not.
and I would never expect that.
Absolutely not.
I will say, so the last time around, I did vote third party. This time, I think I'm going. I don't know. We'll see what I do.
Well, that's your decision. Totally respect it. That's obviously a decision you're going to make in your ballot box on election day. Just like every other American is going to do that's watching this.
That's one thing as somebody who's like, if you asked anyone on the left, they would call me really far right.
Oh,
not like far right extremist, but you know what I mean. I consider myself pretty conservative and stuff, and
well, there's only two sides, unfortunately. Now it's either far left or racist. There is no there. If you're even if you're like a traditional liberal Democrat, that's not far left enough. You're racist. You know what I mean? And if I'm honest, like that's what I was before. Like 4 years ago.
You're like a Bill Clinton Democrat, maybe.
I sympathize a lot with. I could never vote for Hillary, but
right.
I sympathize a lot with those points of views. And I really, I was, that is kind of where I was at, 4 years ago. And everything that's happened within this 4 years has just red pilled the fuck out of me.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, and it's not because I think Trump is this all-knowing savior type dude, like everybody, everybody wants to make everyone that is not far left out to be. I just don't want that extreme in my country. Like I don't want I want police to be funded. You know Absolutely. What I mean? I want my police. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I want law and order. I don't want anarchy. And I understand the social problems that we have, but I also understand that it doesn't define my country. I mean, look at fucking me. It's brown guy, grew up in the fucking hood, slick back hair, tattoos. Guess what? I'm fucking making it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Ain't no
yeah,
fucking white man or orange man stop me from
yeah,
making it. Ain't no
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
cop ain't no cop ever beat me up or fucked with me. Maybe that has a lot more to do with the fact that I took ownership of my own situation. And I said,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get myself the fuck out of this fucking place. I'm going to join the military. I'm not gonna join the gangs. I'm not gonna fucking, hang out and fucking do drugs all through high school, right? I'm
Yeah.
not gonna fucking be a criminal. I chose to do something else, right? So, is there issues socially? Yeah, I would have to admit there is. Are they as prevalent as these people are making them out to be? Fuck no. I am an example of it.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. Yeah, no, 100%. And like you guys have been saying, so with the, you said they're so two-sided. It's left, right, and if you're not one, you're the other, and definitely can't be in between. But I can tell you, I've never actually probably, I think I've said I'm a Republican. Like, I think that's come out of my mouth verbally. Maybe if the ratio probably 1 to 1,000 times is when I would say I'm more just conservative. Is the
Yeah.
verbiage I
Right.
would use.
Right.
Now I've never in my life been worried about somebody trying to look up my information somewhere and be like, "Oh, he likes this page. Oh, he supports who?" I'm freaking out about getting a job. I don't care about peeing in a cup. No big deal. Done. Check it off the box. You want to run a criminal background? Sure. I like to go fast. Sue me. Whatever.
Yep.
You know what? Try and sue me. I got the Law Hawk at Ramos Law in Scottsdale, Arizona. All right. It's game over. You're not getting a dime. So what I really wish would be is that we could all just exist and nobody gave a shit. Like, oh, I'm not talking to them because they think like that. Should be the opposite. I say I kind of want to talk to that dude because he thinks like that. It's the Elon Musk approach.
Yep.
Oh, that rocket didn't work. Let me see why this one did. Hey, vice versa. He thinks about it backwards, and it's crazy because I know there's people that think I'm probably just the biggest piece of shit, asshole, racist out there, and I know it. I've been called it. But I can tell you this much, going back to the latest memory I have when it comes to politics, is I graduated high school on June 6, 2008, okay, Northfield High School. And I went directly to college, quote, I went to technical training at the Universal Technical Institute in Chicago, okay? I was on the west side suburbs border of Chicago. And it was 2008. I mean, this is election. This is the first time I get to vote on anything. So I'd already filled out all my absentee, everything. I had it with me in a folder ready to go. My dad had helped me do it. And because I was a student, I had the ability to really take my time. Like I had an extra extension, I think. So I really took my time on it. And it was Obama. This was like, holy crap, like this is some Obamacare and like me being communicating shit. I'm out of high school. I'm about to adult. Like this is me going to be figuring out life from here on out. I had never planned to move back to Northfield ever. I was out. I was done. I was gone. So it was a scary time. And I remember vividly. I'm gonna use his name. Ron, I'll probably have you bleep it out. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But his name is Brad Morgan. And he's from Stillwater, Minnesota. And this memory, I'm sitting in a diagnostic and drivability class 26 at UTI, and we're sitting in this room. We had just finished a quiz, and then the instructor had walked out to go grade everything at the machine. And we usually had like 20, 30 minutes to get snacks and chill. And this was like 2 weeks before the election, like end of October, like it's heated, whatever. And these guys were talking, and I said, I'm absolutely not voting for Obama. And the room went fucking dead silent. And you could hear a 10 millimeter socket drop and fucking find it. Okay? You'd be like, boop, it's right there. That's how quiet this room got. And for those watching that know that reference, it was awkward. And I'm looking around like, what? I've decided I'm not voting for him. He's like, and everybody just was like, ooh. And this dude, Brad Morgan, with his big old fucking earrings, this is a white dude. And slunk back in his chair, being, the cool guy in class. So he's smart. He's smart. He's a brilliant kid. He's a very smart guy. Like 4.0 student of the course. He's a very smart dude. But he just looked at me dead in the eye and said, "You're not going to vote for Obama because you're a fucking racist." And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, what?" And I remember, I was like, this wasn't a thing for us, was it, Ron? Like, this wasn't something we saw in the news. It wasn't, oh, racist. I was like, whoa, hang on. I'm like, hold the fuck, racist. And I didn't know how to respond back then, let alone on a keyboard and mouse behind the screen. I was like, whoa, what? And I asked him, I was like, what do you mean a race? And to me, at that point in my life, being 18, not more than 4 weeks ago, in Chicago, after graduating high school, growing up in a small town in Minnesota with corn in my backyard and a golf course, to be called a racist, I'm thinking he thinks I'm KKK. He thinks I'm like, this is what's in my head. This is what I'm thinking. I'm like, whoa, what? This guy's fucking insane. This is absurd. And then I get defensive because in my mind I'm thinking that's what he thinks. Now going back, no, he was just a liberal kid from a very liberal part of Minnesota with a very liberal parenting that got a job at BMW out of school and didn't give a shit about anybody because he was taken care of. And I get it, and I hold no grudges. But that moment in my life I will never forget. And every time I've ever been called racist after that, I'm like, okay, buddy, whatever, no problem. Because I had learned to understand why that was happening.
I get called racist constantly.
I was just gonna ask, dude. I was just gonna ask, how many times?
I fuck daily.
Your last post the other day, dude, right before your COVID post, I sent you a meme because I was so pissed at this lady just shitting. I'm like, dude, we're just trying to give him information on the video. None of us know what to do. We're all just making sure he's alive tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was talking about, and I'm like,
it's
chill.
It's fucking it's bad, man. You know, like there's you know, like I could go back to posting my memes now that I'm a little bit better, and just you know, having fun with it, and you know, like people legit like have emotional reactions to it, man. It's so sad. It's like people like literally people are like, you didn't really have COVID. You just like want fucking like attention because you're posting about this political shit. And it's like, guys, come on. Like, it's fucking Facebook, guys. Like, stop making it your fucking identity.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's not who you are. It's not who I am.
By a long shot.
So we have opposing, you know, points of views as far as, you know, our political stuff goes. But come on, like, it's just like, for me to be fucking called a racist, you know, like it doesn't make fucking sense.
I mean,
like how can I possibly, for any shape, way, or form, like be a racist because I have conservative points of views? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
That's a qualifying
and it's got
factor,
nothing.
buddy.
And it's got nothing to do with my skin color. That's not where I'm going with this. It's like, because I am conservative doesn't automatically mean that I'm racist apart from my color, right? And that's kind of why I made that joke earlier, you know, with Ron. It's like, you're either far left or a racist. You know, it's one or the other. And it's like, come on, guys. Like, I grew up in the fucking hood. Like, I have lived the American dream. Like, I am proof that the system fucking works. Just because I don't want a different system doesn't mean that I'm fucking racist. It does. Two and two don't go together there.
Right. Yeah, and that makes my point for me, man. Well said, actually. Because sorry, Ron, go ahead.
No, I grew up privileged, and I don't mean that in my skin color. I don't believe I grew up privileged. I had a mother and a father in the household, and my mom and dad worked really hard to provide for us kids and stuff. So I grew up with that privilege, you know.
Wow, you also had 3 fantastic older sisters.
yes.
But I'm not just saying that because one's watching. I'm saying that because knowing your family for as long as I have now, that they're pillars. Your whole family was a pillar to each other. You guys function as a unit, man.
Our whole family's tight, man.
Yeah. And
that was my privilege, I guess, if any. So that's not lost on me that I had a pretty darn good childhood, even in retrospect. I mean, no one's perfect, but from my perspective, so Jordan and I have a mutual friend that grew up with not the same circumstances, you know, didn't have both parents in the house. This guy had to work from, I know he was 16 years old and he was paying the utility, like working at the grocery store in town so he could pay the utility bills at his house for his little brother and sister. Right. This dude worked his ass off, made something of his life, and is a success story like yourself. Right. So for me, I don't know, that seems to take away from what guys like you two have accomplished, to just be like, oh, well, if you're born into this circumstance, you're fucked. Like there's no point. The system's going to keep you here. There's the government needs to take care of you. All this stuff that seems to take away from your accomplishments. I don't know. Like,
I feel like what's going on right now is like people are trying to shove this shit down my throat, right? Like they're trying to shove it down my throat. Like you need help. Our current system does not afford you the opportunity to succeed, and I am going to decide that for you. And that's how I feel. I feel like people are deciding for my people, right? For my people that are growing up in those shitty circumstances, that are growing up in those hoods, that are growing up, underprivileged. Without, I was privileged like you. Mom and dad worked their ass off, came here with nothing, and I'm here because of them, right? But for people that don't have that and do work their asses off and do accomplish that, right? I feel like people are taken away from that by saying like, no, it doesn't matter. You're not going to make it because the system's rigged. And I think it's bullshit, because you got millions of people out there coming from the situations that I came, or the hoods that I came from, whether black, white, just some poor ass white people where I grew up as well, in the same exact situation that I was in, that again chose to do something better for themselves and was afforded to them in their location, in their situation, right?
Yeah.
So it's just to shove this down our throat is just wrong, right?
Yeah,
It's taken away from what I've accomplished.
exactly.
You can't tell me, and you can't tell other people like me that it's impossible for us to make it. Because what that creates is it creates that victim mindset, which is already a problem in our communities, where we use that mindset that is being given to us as an excuse to be those gang members, to be those fucking non-productive people in society, to grow up and fucking not do shit. You know what I mean? I've got friends that I still know that are doing the same fucking thing, that are my age, still living in the same fucking place. Guess what? That's their own fucking fault. They chose that. You know what I mean? I chose to do something different. So how are you going to shit on me because they chose to not get out of that situation, right? And I think it's really, really unfair for people that do work themselves out of that situation to have that race card shoved down their throat, right? Where it's like, you're not going to make it because everybody else is racist. That's bullshit. It's just not true.
It's one of the most racist things that exists.
Yeah.
That's the racist thing that is the racist thing that happens. But I mean, I don't want to get too much into race on this. It's not really a topic I feel comfortable discussing, because I'm just not that educated on it. But let's see. Oh, we got a question in the chat. Question in the chat, boys. So from Versace, aka the man himself, Zach Ansel, the Law Hawk from Ramos Law. Zach says that he firmly believes an average citizen should be able to own a machine gun and or a tank if they can afford them. So he wants to know, what are your thoughts on complete deregulation and abolishment of the BATFE? I'm going to start with Ron.
Abolish the ATF. That's my answer.
Okay, excellent. I can agree. Is there more? Anything else?
Any infringement is infringement. If you're not a fucking psychopath or whatever, if you don't have I don't know, man. Any infringement is infringement. Abolish the ATF. That's my answer.
Well, let me ask you this. You made a very good point. So back up. So you said if you're not crazy, you're not a criminal. What did you say? You're not insane or something? You said something like that. Yeah, right. Obviously, so I agree.
And I think see that's so sticky. I don't know enough. I'm not a psychologist. I don't know enough.
Right. And I'm just saying you're painting with a broad stroke. But
yeah,
right.
so I'm not saying that because they'd throw it back. Like, oh, so you're saying that you know, some dude who's a convicted rapist or something can go out and buy a machine gun? Like, no. If you're a violent offender,
The
I think you
felons
gave,
and yes.
and not even, I wouldn't even say felon, because man, there's dudes that have felonies for weed, and
Well, correct. No,
having
you're
some
right.
weed
No,
on
good,
you, a
bad.
felony level amount of weed should take away your right to vote or
There
your
shouldn't
right to
really
own
be
a
a
gun.
felony for weed, though, should there? I mean, if we're really going to be specific, should
No,
there be
no,
anything for weed except a receipt?
that's my point. So, like in South Dakota, you can get felony possession of marijuana here pretty easily.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know
yeah.
that. That's crazy.
Crazy.
And yeah, that's like the one thing. This state is like very libertarian on a lot of things, and not so much on the weed.
I got you.
But I just use that. It's an easy example that I think most people could agree upon. You know, like when they say, "Well, a felon," you know, do you think felons should own guns? I'm like, some. I think if you got busted for weed, man, I don't think you should lose your Second Amendment right for the rest of your
Yeah,
life. I think that
absolutely
seems
not.
kind of ridiculous. So a violent offender, yeah, sure. You know,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're a
I mean,
rapist, you know, if you've have just domestic assaults and
well, not to get specific, but to sum it up, if you're you're fucked up in the head on paper, and it's been documented, proven, and tried, and you're guilty, and it's there.
By somebody smarter than us.
Yeah, correct.
In that
Yeah,
department.
Correct.
exactly.
In
Not
that
a
judicial
reasonable doubt.
world that exists from beyond, and maybe you had Zach Ansel at Ramos Law protect you. Maybe you didn't. You probably made a poor decision and didn't call him. I can't help you with that at that point in your life. But here's the deal. Yeah, there's obviously people that shouldn't have him on those bases. There's some that should. That's the nutshell of it.
That's the disclaimer.
But
Other than that, I think people should own whatever the fuck they
correct.
want.
Now, before
The
you
intent-
answer James, I want you to answer this question and that question that I'm going to ask at the same time. And then Ron, I'm going to have you respond to my question specifically after he gets his. Everybody got that? Okay. 1, 2, ready? Here we go. Basically, I want to know your answer to Zach, okay, on the deregulation and abolishment. But I also want your opinion on like a 10-day cooling off period to purchase a gun in a Walmart, Cabela's, FFL dealer, etc., wherever you can purchase a gun legally. It doesn't not necessarily a 10-day. I'm not going to get specific, but just a cooling off period. Boom. So those are your two questions. It's yours.
Here's the deal, man. The Second Amendment is a right, correct?
Absolutely.
Right? It's
right. Second Amendment. It's there. Not going anywhere.
Unless you do something to lose that right, you need to be afforded that right without any sort of fucking regulation or recourse whatsoever. Right? Period. End of story. I don't care if you want to own a fucking machine gun. I don't care if you want to own a tank. If you've earned that privilege with your financials, it is a right. And if you haven't done anything to lose that right, again, as decided by somebody way smarter than I ever could be, then no, fuck the cool off period, fuck the regulations, fuck the limits. It is your right, just like any other right under the Constitution needs to be, and that's it. It's that simple. It shouldn't be any more complicated than that, and I have absolutely no idea why it is more complicated than that.
Amen. Amen.
That's it.
Okay, so Ron, any rebuttal? You agree? You were in agreement? You two?
The cool off period, I disagree with as well. So like the waiting times and waiting periods and stuff. So what if, and I'm only throwing this out as a hypothetical, obviously. Like, but so say you have a 10-day or even a 3-day cool off period. Say there's a woman who is being physically abused, and her abuser gets away, and she goes to the store to buy a gun to defend herself. And this is obviously like we're dealing hypotheticals here, but that's an example no one ever wants to talk about. They always talk about, well, because if somebody's going to commit a murder, maybe it'll cool off or whatever have you. Well, what about that woman who, or man, whoever, somebody's physically assaulted, there's somebody after them, they need a firearm to defend themselves.
Yeah.
They should have the right to defend themselves.
We have to always start under the assumption that it is a right that is inherited, not under the assumption that it is a right that you maybe might have if you do certain things. And exactly. I think that's where the issue is, right? is specifically with the Second Amendment. It's not. It hasn't been a right anymore, especially in my state. My state could definitely attest to that. It's become more like a driver's license, where it's a privilege.
Yeah.
If you do, and if you do all the right things, and if you check this box and check this box and check this box, then you can have it. That doesn't sound like a right to me.
No.
That doesn't sound like an amendment in the
Absolutely right.
Constitution to me, right? It needs to start under the assumption that it is a God-given right to you as a law-abiding citizen of the United States of America.
Hey,
That's
wow.
where it starts, and that's it.
Good. Yeah, Ron, I knew you'd come around to that. You brought up, the need this in the defense side of it. So that's just I've seen a lot of that popping up on social media the last couple of weeks, and a lot on Instagram. It's been crazy, the ridiculous amount of effort that's been going into cover up the island and everything else that I'm going to cover in next week's episode. But make sure you tune in for that. But basically, no, that's awesome. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Zach, if you're still watching. Yeah, guns are still. I mean, you guys just had a pretty big Supreme Court overruling. The
Big time,
magazine
big time,
capacity
big
ban is
time.
now, I believe, if I read correctly, reversed and done.
You got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, yeah.
They completely got rid of the stupid magazine capacity rules that they had here, which is amazing. I mean, it's probably the biggest Second Amendment win that we've had here in California in 100 years.
Hey,
It's just
that's not wrong. I think you're 100%, but that might be the biggest win in.
It's huge.
Ever.
It is huge, and it's huge because it was completely against every single recommendation by our politicians here in California, right? It took somebody above that level to say, hey, this is stupid and you guys can't do this. And that's huge because the state has been getting away with doing and infringing upon those rights for such a long time.
Yeah, they're just snipping them one at a time and just burning them off, singeing
Yep.
them. Yeah, no, it was, and people are like, it's just a magazine. I'm like, you don't understand, and I believe one of the reasons that was, I don't think it was a reason for the turn, but it was cited as part of the defense for it, was the ability in the Second Amendment to defend yourself as any means necessary and how you see fit. It's not, there doesn't list out a list of UPC codes that you have to scan to see if it qualifies. If Jimmy can go across state borders and get this, damn well better be able to get it across in the other state too.
It's not big because of the actual act itself, right? Like going from a certain capacity magazine to another capacity magazine, not a big deal. But why it's big is because the pendulum or whatever you want to call it had been turning left for years and years and years and years. And not only did this stop it, but it actually turned it one click the opposite way. And that's never something that I thought I'd see in this state. And that's why it's big, because now we have it moving in the other direction, which I thought would be impossible.
Exactly. And you look at like a Chicago, you look at Chicago, a Miami, a Phoenix. I mean, even Phoenix, I mean, is not as crazy as it used to be. I would say when I moved here 10 years ago, I was told parts of Avondale was dangerous, and then I bought a house there 4 years later. So, some of it changes, obviously. And I'm sure there's other parts of the country that don't get any attention by the, so-called, quote, media, quote, people that produce noises with their mouths that you guys listen to for some goddamn reason. Instead of this podcast that you can find on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube after this Twitch stream is done. I have a really hard time believing. No, I don't want to finish that thought. I don't want to finish that thought. I'm just done there. I'm just gonna be done there. Yeah. So, Zach, again. Anyways, Second Amendment is the Second Amendment. First Amendment, any amendment, I don't care. It doesn't matter. An amendment is an amendment, and it's a big win, regardless for that. The NRA is under attack. I don't want to get into that. I don't think James has the lung capacity for that conversation tonight. I don't think I do either, honestly.
We can for another 5 hours on that.
I know, just that one thing. But if there's no more questions in the chat, James, do you have any questions for myself or for Ron on anything? Anything we've talked about or anything we haven't talked about that you just want to pick our brain on?
Not so much questions, man, but I just genuinely wanted to thank you guys for giving me a platform to kind of speak on my experiences. Just because, from what I've been through and kind of where I came from in these last 3 weeks. It even if it makes a difference in one person's life and maybe stops them from making the same stupid fucking mistakes that I made, then it was worth it, right? And the
Yeah,
more the more of a platform that I can get to kind of speak my mind on that, the more potential it might have to maybe affect somebody positively and affect their family positively, which is what, where my big concern was throughout this entire thing. So thank you guys. I
yeah.
appreciate it.
No, thank you. I mean, we threw this together in a week. You've obviously had a quite uh, busy couple weeks, clearly, and you obviously have another road. And man, I'd love to have you back on, honestly, and just kind of do like maybe like a 90-day follow up with how you're feeling and chart. I'd love, and I'm just I've done a lot of the V2 oxygen testing and all that good stuff, and I love how that stuff works. I'm a big fan of that, so I'm curious to see how you respond. Get back into the weights and get that 20 pounds of lean mass back, or maybe your body reacts totally different now. Maybe your metabolism. It's. I kind of see this as being not so much a curse at all now that you've recovered, and it's more of a okay. Let's see what we can do with this. And you're so eager to help someone out there. Somebody's bound to see it. It's gonna
That
work.
that that's that's the big
So
thing, man. I got to take a
yeah,
positive mindset on this and understand, like Ron said, we don't know. So the next 90 days will be key, and maybe I can in 90 days say, man, like I'm fully recovered, like everything went great.
yeah,
Or maybe in 90 days I can be like, hey guys, like this is even more serious than I could have thought,
yeah,
because now I have to live a different way, or I'm a different person, or whatever the case might be. You know what I
right.
mean? It would be beneficial one way or the other.
Yeah, and with your blood type and your age group, maybe that starts to become the new thing, and then they do come
Yeah.
up with, like I said, it's not going to be a vaccine, and I don't think whatever they call a vaccine is going to be one. It's just going to be a shot for paper purposes when they realize they can't come up with one, even though they promised it. But
Mhm.
treatments, you got to have the stages. Stage one, two, three, whatever. We treat cancer the same way we treat everything the same. Why not approach it the way we've approached medicine? As long as I've been alive, as long as I've known anybody to be alive. So I that insight you have as being a medic and Ron and having you two together has given it a nice little twist, and I've very much enjoyed hearing. So, Ron, you got any other questions? You got anything you want to
No,
cover?
man. No questions. I wanted to thank James for his time, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yes.
I honestly, going into this, I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about you other than your name. So uh, it was pretty cool hearing your story, man. I appreciate you sharing it with us. I know, especially with, I mean, it's still um, happening. It's still rolling out, still playing out. So I appreciate you sharing that with us, man. And it was nice getting to know you a little bit over the last couple hours. And I agree with Jordan, man. Love to have you on anytime. You're an
Yeah,
interesting dude. You're
yeah,
well spoken. So
Thank you guys.
yeah,
I appreciate
for
it.
sure. And we'll get
yeah,
those
man.
clips ready. You can share them and spread them, and
Yes.
obviously it's of course good for us, but it's good for everyone as far as I'm concerned. I don't think the content we put out is toxic. I think if anything, it's just going to push the envelope just enough, just to the other side. But it'll
That's
make you think
that's
a
all.
little.
That's all we
Yeah,
need.
I just want some people to. I just want somebody to think, and then I want you, if you could, real quick, James, just plug that company you work for again, and where people can contact if they want to help or if they need help. You
Sure.
know.
So you can contact me directly at james@textlayers.com. And then the website for the company itself is textlayers.com. And again, we help everybody, but especially if you're a veteran, and you're struggling for work, and you need something to do. We'll put you in a really badass position where you can do really badass things to
Awesome.
help your country again.
I love it. And then of course something we kind of we didn't talk on it as a subject because it's not something I think anybody's really comfortable putting out there as far as information goes, as far as like mental health things go. I mean, obviously, I am clearly not a doctor nor qualified, and none of us are. But if you know somebody that's having an issue with the COVID or with PTSD service related, any issues, just reach
Please,
out to them.
please, please,
You know,
please reach out. Please reach out.
absolutely.
It's, especially with those two things. And unfortunately, I'm a seasoned veteran with plenty of PTSD issues behind me, that I've had to work through. And I've made it through the other side, luckily. And this COVID thing is, it's real, and it really kicked my ass as well. And there's definitely some lasting, mental scars and stuff like that will definitely be there for sure. So if I can help anybody out with that, especially understanding the fact that you are alone in dealing with it, if they want to reach out, and they're struggling right now, maybe they're in the ICU or in a telemetry unit and they don't know what the fuck is going on, maybe I can help them out.
Yeah, you got some. Now you got a whole nother world of perspective, man. So that line of communication, it's a good line to be on. So I got some ideas actually. I'm gonna message you, maybe not tonight, but tomorrow. I got some with the streaming stuff and video games, just some real nichey stuff that it might not be big, but something that I think we could use this platform to do. With your company and stuff. That I didn't even know that you were doing. I thought you were doing personal training, bro. Honestly, I had no idea. That's how long it's been since I chatted with you.
Yep.
Like, honestly. So I'm gonna wrap it up there. James, again, thanks for coming on, man. I think we peaked. I'm gonna have to check the viewership. Could be like 3.7 million people tuned in. Not quite sure. No, we got to wait for the final tally. It's like mail-in voting. You just never know till you know. You got to sort through them, baby. But no, I'm just kidding. And once again, guys, in the chat, before you leave tonight, if you hit the follow button on Twitch, it's free. It supports us, Ron and myself, and the whole team here. Then when we do these things, we also do some gaming, YouTube, Spotify. All the stuff is listed, down below, and then kind of up top somewhere on here. And then the GoFundMe link for James is in there. So again, if you don't have $1 or $2, can't throw some dollars his way, just share it, like it, comment on it, because listen, a share. You've seen how things go viral. Somebody sees something and boom, it's done. That share train, it just happens. So, get involved, do what you can. COVID's a bastard, and none of us love it. So, it is what it is. But I'm gonna chop it off right there. I'm gonna be gaming tonight. Anybody else wants to game, let me know. But let's go ahead and turn it off. Ron, I'll get this file over to you. Any last words, boys?
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sirs.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
you. Keep doing what
Pleasure,
you're doing. All right, guys. I will see you soon. Have a great evening and enjoy the new outro music. I got a new set of tunes for you guys. I got a lot of complaints about the music last time, mainly from my editing producer Ron and some other people that I won't name. But let me know what you think. Go ahead and put that information down below. And I'm going to put the slideshow up again. Enjoy that. And anything you guys put in the chat will show up at the end. So if you want to put your name or plug your social media, feel free. But yeah, have a great time, guys. We'll see you later.
All right.
Yep.
Later, man.